Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
All right, let's do this. Welcome to a big Friday edition of Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Andrew Paterson, about to be joined by Michael Remis and Hrabchak. Everyone's got lots to say about the football game last night at Princess Auto Stadium. Absolutely stellar evening, great crowd. The stage was set for an incredible start to the weekend and a fun Victory Friday show on WST. It's 5 Alarm Friday right now because the alarms are going off on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who fall to 4-4 last night after being embarrassed by a rookie quarterback in his first start. The BC Lions put up 25 points in the fourth quarter and ran for 377 yards on the Bombers last night as they won going away by 15 after a game that was relatively tight throughout the game. There is so much to get to tonight. The questionable decisions by the coaching staff going for 10-yard field goals early on, which really seemed to take a lot of momentum out of the offensive side, and a defense that sure as hell didn't make Caden Salter beat him with his arm, running for a Lions franchise record of 160 yards on the ground. Oh, and don't forget another rookie, their running back, Zayden Horvath, in for James Butler. He goes for well over 170 last night, 3 touchdowns. And there's borderline panic in the peg right now with the Bombers. We're going to get into it. We'll hear from the team as well post-game. Just before we do that, welcome to everyone listening on the podcast. Shout out to all you chatters. Great to see many of you at the game last night. As I said, perfect evening with the exception of what happened between the white lines. I do want to thank all the sponsors that make WSD happen each and every day. Of course, our partners at CoolBet. Just saw the CoolBet boys put up in the combo cards today the Toba 2-piece. Maybe our other pro teams can get wins tonight. It's the Manitoba Mosquitoes night at the ballpark. Sea Bears have a big game at home. We've got that one up. We'll hit that in the CoolBet lines a little later on if you want to take a look. Princess Auto, of course, Chud's Power Sports. Want to thank Clean Line, Manitoba Battery in Aikens Lake, Breezy Bend, Royal Sports, Boston Pizza, Little Brown Jug, Travel Manitoba, the Gold Eyes, Assiniboia Downs. We'll talk to Darren Dunn coming up on the program about Monday's Manitoba Derby, Rolly's Transfer, St. Vital Dental Center, and oh, do we have some fodder for the Not Autocorp Why Not question of the day for Not over at Waverly and McGillivray. Let's get her going. Michael Remis, Hrabchak, get in here and let's get down to business. That still sort of in shock as to what we saw over the entire game, but the fourth quarter was one we'll be talking about for a long time. Remo, I know you were watching the game. We were at the game. What were your thoughts on one of maybe the most embarrassing loss of the Mike O'Shea era, considering everything that was surrounding both teams going into the game?
Yeah, I was in the WST Discord, and I wrote that it was very embarrassing after the first half where you have the 2 long drives, settle for field goals, and then you let them march down the field, and then you end the first half trailing 1 point after you refuse to go for it on 3rd and short, and there's BC going for it for 3rd and short and getting the touchdown. So I thought it was embarrassing for them at that point. They let BC hang around despite having some good drives, moving the ball, but ultimately leaving with field goals. And touchdowns have been hard to come by this year. They now have 16 offensive touchdowns on the year in 8 games. That's not going to get it done, and it was unbelievable watching, BC carry for a franchise record, 377 rushing yards for. Was also a franchise record yards allowed for the Blue Bombers. I saw Doug Brown put that out there. They were wondering on the CJOB postgame, which had a field day, talking about this. And I know there's people who don't want to, but I think the only way to get past this game is just comedy. Huss. I mean, how can you not laugh at the BC Lions putting the exclamation mark with, I don't know, another long touchdown run at the end? And this was a close game. They were leading 19-13 with 6:18 remaining. BC goes on a 22 run, and Xander Horvath with a 58-yard run, 35-yard run in the final 6 minutes to really put the exclamation mark. And you talk about aggressiveness. How about BC going for a 2-point conversion to try and make it a 2-score game with the Philly special? I know Connor's got a lot of thoughts on the Philly special, but I mean, just absolutely embarrassing the Blue Bombers. So a great night, though, at Princess Auto Stadium. I mean, beautiful night out there. I mean, the sky looked incredible. So, I mean, what a great night.
Yeah, Connor, I mean, listen, there's so many areas to talk about, but I laughed so hard when I saw your tweet last night, but I could just hear you saying it.
Dude.
The insult to injury of a Philly special last night was, it was basically appropriate considering what happened over the course of the game, and especially when the game really matters. And teams like the Bombers historically have stepped up and taken care of business. It was the exact opposite.
100%. And shout out to Christian Almel, who was on that CJOB postgame show with DT and Doug Brown. He mentioned this after. That's now 4 home losses for the Blue Bombers this season, Huss. That's the most they've had since 2016. Home losses in a season. 4. I'm checking the calendar. It's still July. Like they have been awful at home this year. It's kind of puzzling because, like you said, the crowd was great last night. Beautiful night. People were having fun. August long weekend. Vibes are high. BC's a 1-win football team playing a rookie quarterback. This is free win night. Like everyone's having a great time, right? The vibes were super high. And then you settle for a 12-yard field goal and a 16-yard field goal on your first 2 drives of the game. I think we found the Bombers' offensive identity. It's settling for short field goals and turning the ball over. That's what they're good at when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, though, 377 rushing yards against. BC Lions franchise record. It's the most they've had since 1969. I saw on Twitter yesterday. That was a long time ago. And the Philly special. I mean, if you needed more evidence that the Bombers have fallen, like the 4 home losses weren't enough, you still had hope. Man, the BC Lions running for 377 rushing yards last night is one thing. Them going up 7 and going for the kill shot and calling Philly and converting to put the game away is an absolute joke. Like, Princess Auto Stadium used to be a place where teams were scared to play. Now they can roll out their 3rd-string rookie quarterback and call Philly. Keon Hattrick can throw it with his left hand, just kind of dink and dunk to his quarterback on a 2-point conversion to ice the game, to go up 9. Like, that's an absolute joke. This team used to be scary. This defense used to get after it. Shout out Willie.
I tell you guys, I am very concerned about where this season goes from here. I mean, we said yesterday, well, it's not obviously a must win, but it was a can't lose. I mean, it was a game that they needed to get that win going into the bye week. You need to beat Ottawa because things are getting, like, the Bombers are 4-4 right now. I think the record is a complete mirage. I mean, they were fortunate to win that game based on what happened with Bo Levi Mitchell, the way it started off. I mean, they were not even ready to go in that game. Bo was just tearing them up, and then obviously with the injuries, took them out. And the Ottawa game was a terrible team that just could not take advantage of anything and ice it. And the Bombers, to their credit, take advantage of that and came back and won. But you got 2 against Saskatchewan. You've got Edmonton coming up. You've got Montreal. Very hard to, based on what we've seen so far, think that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to be competing with any of those teams. And with BC's win last night, they get that elusive second win. Calgary is looking to get to 4-4 tomorrow. BC's got a game in hand. Nathan Rourke is going to be back, according to Farhan from yesterday's show. They get that win, and all of a sudden they're 1 game back. Like, Remis, I got legitimate concerns of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers making the playoffs this year. Maybe I need to redo my take on the new CFL playoff system, and maybe we can get that in this year, because outside of the Ottawa Red Blacks right now, it's very hard to make a case for the Bombers over anybody in the CFL.
Man, where do you want to start with this team? On defense, you mentioned the 377 rushing yards. They can't get a turnover. Dietrich Nichols, who used to be able to cover everyone, you couldn't pass on him, is now a turnstile, dropped 2 potential interceptions. The team only has 2 interceptions in 8 games. So it's not going well on defense. And on offense, I mean, with the product that you watched yesterday, we talked all week about Brady Oliveira saying after the last game, well, they don't have an identity. We used to run the ball. And it was like Tommy Condell said, came out and said, hey, you want runs? Here you go. Here's some runs. Here's some, passes, maximum 3 yards across the line of scrimmage. And you thought, okay, good. They're setting up the run here to do some play action and throw it deep. Well, there was none of that at all. There was no aggressiveness on offense. And that's why, this team hasn't really scored any touchdowns and leading the league in field goals. So really disappointing to watch. And yeah, I mean, you had 2 good drives, but you only got 6 points. And BC needed 1 drive at the end and were able to come out with a touchdown, led at the half. And I mean, the Bombers have been trailing at the half in just about every game this year. It's just disappointing.
The Toronto game is the only game that the Bombers have had the lead at the half. And might I say that their halftime adjustments have been trash all year as well, because, I mean, just look at last week against Calgary. You got to come out, have a good start. Boom, first place, 69 to the house. But, Connor, we can talk a lot about how the team just fell apart in the second half and in the fourth quarter. But I have to keep going back to the early part of the game where they were running the ball well on the shadow of the goal line to bring out Sergio Castillo. You want to talk about a lack of a show of confidence in your offense. And even if they don't get it in, you'd be giving the football to a rookie quarterback on the 1 yard line in the shadow of his thing. They don't seem to trust their offense. Apparently don't really trust their defense. And frankly, based on what we've seen over the last little while, maybe it's justified. Bottom line is that was as chicken shit a call as we have seen from any coaching staff in the CFL, I think, in years. And honestly, you heard the boo. Like, you're not supposed to get booed by your home fans in the first quarter. And I mean, Bomber fans are not notoriously all over the team, but it was a decision that I thought took a lot of air out of the team, certainly out of the crowd. And BC's sitting there going, well, we were sort of surviving here. And all it took was a touchdown on that final play of the first half. They walk into that locker room, think, we got a lead. We're right in this game. And they were clearly the better team in the second half.
No doubt. And I fully agree with you. Like, the Bombers outplayed the crap out of the Lions in the first quarter. They didn't have much to show for it, though. Just a couple of short field goals, right? Like 12 yards and 16 yards. That's unbelievable. And I agree. I was hearing the boos. I know Derek Taylor on CJOB was talking about how he heard the boos as well for those decisions. And the one that stood out to me as well, I mean, the early ones were brutal, no doubt. I mean, 12-yard field goal. Come on, this is a rookie quarterback here that you're facing. But also in the fourth quarter, the Bombers are 3rd and 1.5. It said 3rd and 2 on the broadcast, but it wasn't a full 2 yards. I went back and looked. It was more like 1.5. 16-13 with 6.5 minutes left on the BC 41. And they decide in that spot to kick a field goal to make it 19-13. And the BC Lions, 3 or 4 plays later, score a touchdown and take the lead. I believe it was 3 plays later. That field goal decision must have been made with we're going to trust our defense. You're going from 3 to 6 points. You're thinking, okay, now they need to score a touchdown, so we're going to trust our defense. Where is the trust in the defense coming from? From the first half of week 1, when Dedrick Mills ran for over 100 yards rushing in the first half, till now, this defense has been pretty terrible. And last week, they gave up 52 points. It feels like months ago, but it was just last week. They gave up 52 points to Calgary. Like, I don't know where this trust in the defense is coming from, O'Shea is making these decisions as if he has like the Swaggerville defense back there, or like the 2021 like prime Jeffcoat, Jefferson, Brandon Alexander back there. He's making these decisions as if this defense has like been lights out all season long. They just gave up 52 points last week, and now this week you put your trust in your defense. And hey, they gave up 400 rushing yards in this game. So I don't know where that trust is coming from. And then there's a lack of trust offensively, too. You mentioned Drew Brown. He fully got the Taylor Elgersma "we don't trust you yet" playbook. It was run, run, run. And when he did throw, it was at or behind the line of scrimmage, just a ton of screen passes. Usually, like when you're running, you can set up explosion plays, big passes down the field. There was none of that. They were running the ball well. That's what was shocking about those first two drives, is they were running it well all the way down the field. And then you just kick a 12-yard field goal. Like, no one feels good about a 12-yard field goal.
No, listen, it's completely underwhelming. And you know who feels great about the 12-yard field goal? The BC Lions.
Yeah, true.
I mean, listen, was such a disastrous game on the part of the coaching staff from pretty much every level. The decisions from O'Shea to, for instance, kick that field goal, I thought really, really hampered them. And that was a big, big momentum boost for BC. Condell, I don't know a lot about Condell. We really heard from him extensively earlier this week, and there's all the talk about the identity. There seemed to be a real stubbornness and hubris in the game plan that he had. Oh, you want to run the ball? Brady, you want it? We're just going to do it over again. Remis mentioned it's great to establish the run in a league where clearly passing is the most important thing to do, because you want to do that. You want to, soften them up and then make some big strikes. They don't trust Drew Brown to throw the football more than 5-6 yards down the field for fear that it's going to end up in the hands of the other side. So, I mean, so much to be concerned about offensively. But, I mean, you mentioned, Connor, the defense. And listen, Ed Tate was on yesterday. And what did we say? I said, listen, the defensive line has been the one area that, in the Calgary game was actually quite impactful. They were getting some pressure on Vernon Adams. No one else could do anything, and they couldn't tackle once the passes were caught. But at least the D-line was there. And I said to Ed, with this rookie quarterback in there, it's going to be great to get there, but the most important thing they're going to need to do is contain. Because if BC is going to come out there, you want this guy to have to go and earn it and beat you with his arm. He had 7 completions in the game. He did not even complete 100 yards in the air, and yet was running at will. 16 yards a carry for the quarterback, a franchise record. How on earth that was not the focus, and that didn't change at all throughout the game? I'll have no idea, but I don't know who had a worse game, Tommy Condell, Jordan Younger, or Mike O'Shea at the top of the pyramid, but it was a disaster on every level last night.
Yeah. Remo, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have the poll out. How concerned are you about the Blue Bombers' loss, Huss? 6% not worried, 11% somewhat concerned, 46% very concerned, 37% panic mode. And I think after that, maybe I was a little optimistic after that loss to Calgary. It was a pretty close game to the end. This one was a close game to the end until BC pulled away. But as you mentioned, some real questions about the game plan on offense and on defense, where they got embarrassed. So they have the bye week. See how they come back. But I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of confidence out there right now that they'll be able to turn things around, and they really just let BC back in now at 2-5 with Nathan Rourke, on the sidelines, ready to return. And I agree with you. They're, 4-4 record with a negative 39 point differential. It's not looking good, Huss.
They are so fortunate to be 4-4 right now. I mean, the fact of the matter is the way that they played, they should probably be at the bottom of this division. I mean, they were fortunate with everything that happened, and credit to them for getting it together in the fourth quarter and running the football and being able to beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats in that situation. Obviously they got the walk-off in week 1. The Ottawa win was an absolute gift. And I mean, the one game that this team looked pretty good was against a weary Argo team in Drew Brown's first start. And since then, it's been terrible. And as we mentioned, he was on the Elgersma plan. And oh, by the way, Elgersma came in and I put it this way. I don't hear a lot of people saying, let's just move on right now to the young kid. Not ready, did nothing. And that's why when they completed that 2-point convert to go to 9, hell of a call by Buck Pierce, a little bit of aggressiveness, which just seems to be the Blue Bombers are allergic to. It felt like that was game right then. And really, it ended up putting a little bit more off of it. Let's hear what O'Shea had to say. Remo, first off, I want to, if you can, fire up number 3, because I think a lot of people feeling taking the points on that first drive was somewhat ominous as far as what's to come later on. Here's O'Shea on that decision.
They missed their field goal, so you got a nice swing there. I think it was 2 yards probably. So just finish off drive with points. It's I guess you could look at this 2 ways. We only play them twice, so taking points whenever you can, I think, was important, and you certainly want to leave the guys with a good feeling.
Man, absolutely no killer instinct early on, and it's either you just don't have faith in the offense, or don't have the aggressiveness to go and try and really establish that, a lead early. And kind of remind a rookie quarterback at a team that had 1 win on the season who and where they were playing last night. But listen, what happened on the defensive side of the football was unlike anything that we've seen before. The run defense got gashed. There was no real passing attack, and it did not matter for BC. This is one, Remo. Here's what the O'Shea had to say about getting gashed for 377 yards on the ground.
How do you explain what happened against the run today?
Oof. Yeah, I think the easy answer, having been out there, anytime those massive runs take place, you've got more than one error. It's not a one-on-one miss, it's usually a combination of 2, probably 3 errors, or a missed tackle and a couple errors. But yeah, those big runs, especially near the end, we're just not where we're supposed to be. And combination, I imagine, of guys being tired near the end and also trying too hard, which is a bad combination. They were out there a bit. I don't know what the time possession was, but yeah, I'd imagine that's it. As soon as you get tired, you stop communicating, stop thinking, and start missing and start, squeezing stick too hard, trying to make the stop instead of just make the play.
You guys did a really good job against Salter for a good chunk of the game. Did you see something different from him in the fourth quarter?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there was anything that would have caught us off guard. Once again, I think, the fourth quarter especially, I think guys missed some of the targets they wanted to hit. And once again, when you get tired and you start squeezing a little bit, trying to make the tackle, trying to do something more outside the system, we end up short somewhere usually. And but in all fairness, I should probably watch that fourth quarter and figure it out a little deeper. But big runs against are usually, especially really big runs against, are usually a missed assignment, a couple missed assignments, not just one, and missed tackles. So,
guys, I mean, I don't know, but everyone knows that it's a 60-minute game. I'm not sure that your defense should be tired, and listen, you want good effort. I'm not sure that trying too hard was how about just being, first of all, not being set up to force him to beat you with the arm, and then a lack of execution, tackling, all of the above. That Connor, was not just unique to yesterday's game.
Yeah. And we've seen it so far this season, right? And look, like the tired thing, I don't get it. BC was on shorter rest this week. They had 4 days rest. They're coming in with a rookie who is like barely practiced with this team. You look at Mike O'Shea admitted he hasn't looked at the time of possession yet. Well, we can look at it now. The Bombers had more. Like Bombers had 31 and a half minutes of time of possession. BC was at 28 and a half. So like, I mean, is that a thing? And also a great way to keep your defense fresh and on the sidelines, drinking water and Gatorade and, you know, making sure they're ready to go and not tired when they get out there on the field is keeping the ball offensively. But that's not what the Bombers did when they settled for a 49-yard field goal on 3rd and 1.5 with 6 minutes left and put their defense back on the field. And then 3 plays later, I guess they suddenly became tired and the trust in the defense just wasn't there. And BC went right down the field and scored, and then scored another touchdown, and then Philly special, and then scored again. It's just, I don't get it. I also don't understand the reasoning. I would need him to explain it to me a little bit better. Like I'm 5 years old or something, that, you know, we play them twice this year, so any points are good points. Well, you know, winning is the number one tiebreaker over teams. If you're playing them twice, then it goes to point differential. So I don't know if those points are really helping the Bombers, especially when they are playing BC later this year. Not only do they have to beat them, they have to beat them by, how much did they lose by last night? They got to beat them by more than what BC beat them by.
16.
So I guess those points do matter for that, instead of being down 20 or down 16 and you can beat them by 16 in the last week of the season. But again, the number one thing to do is just win.
I'm sorry. It is absolutely embarrassing to say that you're basing decisions in game on a potential tiebreaker with a 1-win team with a 3rd-string quarterback coming into your house. What are we doing here?
This is what I was saying, Huss. Like the Bombers used to be like, why the tiebreaker used to never matter, because Princess Auto Stadium on a Friday night with a 1-win team and a rookie quarterback, like that is a win. That is a win. The defense, the offense, they would just dominate. And now the decisions are coming down to tiebreakers over the last place team in the West Division. And those decisions came back to bite you in the ass later because you had 6 points and BC was winning at halftime. Like
The chat's going off. Derek Schmidt, how's his voice just now sounded like I am mad and I'm disappointed. Correct on both counts. Why not question of the day for not Autocorp at Waverly and McGilvery? We had the poll question up in the chat. How concerned are you about the Bombers after last night's loss? Make sure to vote if you haven't already. Here's a little bit more from O'Shea. His team, and again, the crowds have been so good. The game nights have been amazing. The team just hasn't gotten the job done. O'Shea talked about the most losses at home on his watch since 2016.
Yeah, I don't. I probably, I mean, our fans are unbelievable. They are so loud, passionate, educated. I always say educated. They know when to do what, right? Or what to do when. But we're just not playing well. You know, whether we're here or on the road, we're not playing well enough. Yeah.
More from Coach, and this is going to be I'm sure it'll be very much a working bye week for the coaching staff. It certainly should be. Here's O'Shea on the upcoming break for the team before being back home against Ottawa in Week 11.
But the bye week, honestly, they do need to get some rest. You know, they need a little bit of mental rest. We had 5 games here in July, 3 on short weeks, 2 on really short weeks. So they need to give themselves a bit of a mental break, but they need to then physically get after it and make sure they come back in good shape still, right? It's a long bye week. We can't just rest. That would be a recipe for disaster. So they gotta get to work. Braden has put together a good plan for them for the break, and we'll see. I'm sure they'll execute it. Nobody likes this feeling, so they want to come back better, and that would be their job, you know, is to get mental rest, but physically try and ramp it up.
Well, let's hope that the bye week execution's better than the game week execution lately for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Let's go to 8 here, Remo. Willie Jefferson, who's been really a standout this year on the Blue defense, but also one of the leaders, talked yesterday just about the loss and in the fashion that it happened.
It wasn't good enough. Offense, defense, special teams wasn't good enough. Second half came out and couldn't do it. Got to be better.
Ugly number, the rushing yards against. What happened on that against them?
Just couldn't. Quarterback was just getting out of the pocket. No contain on the edges and things like that. The communication wasn't good on the defensive side of the ball. When we was getting the call, and then making checks and stuff like that, and then just couldn't relay the calls. So it was bad communication and defensive bust.
Where does the team go from here? That's a couple in a row that you probably aren't happy with.
We just got to keep coming in and chopping wood, right? You know, it's a good team, a resilient team. We got some good players on all three phases, right? You know what I'm saying? We just got to come in and fix it and get it together.
What would be your message to the team after a game like this?
We just got to fix it. We got to come together. Defensive side of the ball, like the front end to the back end, we got to communicate better. And then the offense just has to do what they have to do when they have the ball on the field, right? They had the opportunity to score inside inside the 20 a couple of times. Got to put the ball in the end zone, and that creates a snowball effect, right? But altogether, we all have to do better. Offense, defense, special teams.
All right, there's Willie, a frustrated Willie Jefferson after last night's game. We're going to talk to Taylor Allen more about last night's disaster in just a couple minutes. Connor, I think there's a bye week for the Bombers. I think for all of us here at WST, a much needed long weekend to get away. Yes. But Tuesday is going to be a busy day on WST coming out of the long weekend. Jeff and I are going to be going live at 10 with the latest edition of CFL 110. And you and Schnitzy will fire it up at 9 a.m. Hopefully, this gives Zach enough time to calm down. He must be a basket case right now.
I think I need it too, Huss, to be honest. I mean, I'm still pretty hot. Throughout this weekend, at some point, I'm going to think of the Philly special again and just get angry. Just get angry again. But no, I think it's a good time for a long weekend. And yeah, usually we're live Monday mornings with Bomber Report, but the Bombers Report will be live Tuesday morning right before CFL 110. So a busy CFL day on Tuesday. And I'm doing my part in winning the bye week, Huss. I'm going to West Hawk this weekend and camping in the White Shell. So I'm doing my part. Looking forward to a great weekend, a much needed long weekend. The Bombers can't hurt us this weekend, which is a win. So we
are going head to head in fantasy this week. Did you catch my
Did you play Horvath?
Oh yeah.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
37 points.
I'm cooked. Okay, wait. Let me see this.
And you still got Tyson Alexander. I think you're doing okay.
My team is okay. I lost on a stat correction last week, so I beat Schnitzy. And then they took away 4 points from the Calgary defense somehow. And then Schnitzy won. But I was up 2, and then I lost by 2. Pretty puzzling stuff. But
interesting. Yeah. I mean, listen, I had Horvath playing because Butler was out, and I had Sergio. Maybe I should have been happy that they were kicking field goals on the 1 yard line.
You were fired up for that. Yeah. Trot out Serge. Yeah. You were the only person.
I would have happily given the 3 points away for a convert off of a 6 for the Bombers. But anyways, Connor, great stuff, man. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll look forward to a big morning on Tuesday with both the Bombers Report at 9 a.m. with Connor and Zach, and then Hammer and I firing up CFL 110 at 10 a.m. Listen, just before we get to Taylor Allen of the Winnipeg Free Press, got to thank our friends at Clean Line Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical for their support of WST. They are the residential and commercial plumbing experts, along with great heating and electrical services, and have been Winnipeg's most trusted plumbers with over 40 years of fast responses, lasting results, and 24/7 emergency services across all of Winnipeg. 204-500-2001 is the number you're going to need to know. Mark it down. When you're in a jam, Clean Line has you covered anytime, anywhere in the greater Winnipeg area. You can also go to cleanline.ca for more information or to schedule an appointment. I got to thank our friends at Manitoba Battery. Many of you are heading out to the lake this weekend, going to get onto a boat, maybe ride a dirt bike, ATV, golf cart. You need batteries for all those things. So if you do have battery needs, shop local, get the best prices in town, beating the pants off the big box stores over at our friends at Manitoba Battery. 2 locations to serve you, Logan Avenue, Dovercourt Drive. We know you're busy, though. They do have delivery options anywhere inside the perimeter of Winnipeg. But it's always great to pop into Manitoba Battery because they have such great customer service as well. So for all your battery needs this weekend and throughout the year, Manitoba Battery is your spot. You can check them out online at manitobabattery.com. And hey, folks, if you do have a move coming up as we get into the new month or into the fall, make sure to hit up our friends at Rolly's Transfer for that next move. Rolly's is the most trusted name in moving in Manitoba. Family owned and operated for over 60 years. They've got a beautiful website at rollies.com. You can find out more information on all their services. But if you do have a move coming up, click on Request an Estimate in the top right corner. Put in the promo code WST for a special discount on moving services and moving supplies. And then let them know when and where you're moving and what needs to go. The friendly staff at Rollies will turn it around with a great quote and get you locked in for the white glove treatment and service they've been famous for now into their 7th decade. For all your moving needs, make it Rollies, the most trusted name in the game. Find out more online today over at rollies.com. All right, we will have Hacksaw on a little later on. Darren Dunn's going to get us ready for the Manitoba Derby, but let's welcome in Taylor Allen right now from the Winnipeg Free Press for more on last night's Bomber loss at Princess Auto Stadium. Taylor, what's up? How are you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing good. The sun is shining. It's a long weekend. But my goodness, Huss, if you're in Bomberland, if you're a Bomber fan, or if you're on that Blue Bombers team, chances are you're not feeling too hot this morning because last night was embarrassing to say the least, and that's an understatement.
You know, I thought that, getting the 50 burger dropped on them last week certainly from a Bomber fan's perspective, you hope that was a big-time wake-up call. I mean, their 3rd loss at home. And then you go into this situation where you got to bye after a game against a 1-win team with a rookie quarterback making his first start, their top running back not in the game, and they absolutely fell apart in that game later on. But it didn't start very well. I mean, one of the most underwhelming performances I can remember in well over a decade here. And man, we want to pick at the autopsy. There's a long list of what the Bombers didn't do very well. But just from your perspective, and I'm sure you're speaking with some of the other media contingent yesterday, how shocked are you that the Bombers laid an egg to that level in a game that was so important for them with the opportunity that presented itself?
Well, everyone sometimes overreacts about a game for good and bad reasons on the average week. But this one, Huss, like you said, this is one of the most embarrassing and inexcusable losses in the Mike O'Shea era. Maybe the most embarrassing, inexcusable loss in the Mike O'Shea era. I mean, you're playing at home. You're welcoming a 1-win BC Lions team. Their quarterback, a rookie, making his first career start. Their starting running back he's playing his first career CFL game. They have 2 backup offensive linemen playing as well. And again, they're a 1-win team. Even at full strength this year, the Lions haven't been very good. And the Bombers, you're coming off of a loss. You're about to go into a bye. It's like, okay, this is a prime time opportunity to bounce back, to get on track, to feel good going into the bye week, be 5-3, despite not playing your best football so far this season. And they blow it. They absolutely blow it. Offense and defensively, it was a total disaster by these guys. And, early on in the game, they outplayed the Lions. But Mike O'Shea, despite looking like Dan Campbell, coaches absolutely nothing like Big Dan, right? And he plays it safe, kicking these field goals, these chip shot field goals that, that us could make, right? The 12-yard kicks, whatever. It's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 4 in the red zone. And they're playing it super conservative. And I get it. You're playing this depleted Lions team. You want points on the board, but it's even if you don't convert those 3rd down attempts, you're pinning them deep. You're putting a rookie in this terrible position. And yet, they again, despite playing the Lions early on, outplaying them early on, all they had to show for was a 6-0 lead. And then by the time the Lions kind of started rolling a little bit, they score that late touchdown and they're up 7-6 at the half. And that's now the 7th game this season, Huss, that the Bombers have trailed at the half. So, yeah, if you're a Bomber fan, how can you not be ripping your hair out right now? Because they keep starting slow. No, they didn't turn the ball over yesterday, really. But this team is just, there's still more questions than answers about this group 8 games in.
I'll be honest, when you kick a field goal from the 1 or 2 yard line for the defense, it almost feels like a turnover. Like those decisions were incredible. And I mean, I'm not sure whether this is, hey, you know what? We've got such confidence in our defense in this situation that we're just going to keep putting up the points. I mean, 2 field goals and a half of CFL football is not going to cut it. And as you mentioned, they sort of hung on, played with their food. And all of a sudden, Salters started feeling a little bit more confident and tearing it up with his legs. And as you mentioned, a half that the Bombers, I think, sure felt at least for 25, 28 minutes they were in complete control of. And then once again, they go to halftime losing the football game, as you pointed out, has happened in all but 1 game this year.
Yeah, and I mean, in a way, it kind of just felt like the Bombers were trying not to lose. I mean, Drew Brown, it looked like they gave him a rookie playbook. I mean, he wasn't airing the ball out until later in the game, and then he gets hurt, and it was too late for that, of course. But early on, it was all these short passes, and they were running Brady over and over again, which is great. I get it. It's Brady Oliveira is one of the best players in the league, but they were just so predictable and not, risking anything. And it was like they were playing not to lose. It was full game manager mode. And you know what? To an extent, I understand because, last week Drew Brown did throw 4 picks. The week before that in Ottawa, he should have had 4 picks, but the Red Blacks are, the Red Blacks, and they happen to drop them all, right? So I understand wanting to dial it back a little bit. But you can't this is the CFL. It doesn't matter if you're playing the first string, second string, or third string quarterback on the other team. You can't just be kicking field goal after field goal after field goal and expect to win the game. Every team in the league is putting up, these crazy points offensively right now, right? Like you need to score some touchdowns, and yet the Bombers and Tommy Condell, who's been super underwhelming so far, let's call it how it is, they just played super conservative, and they paid for it in the end.
Well, I mean, listen, the decision to go for particularly that 1 field goal right on the doorstep was something that, let's just say, wasn't well received by the individuals on the field as well, and I totally get it. But all week long, coming out of last week, it was like, okay, what is the Bombers' identity? And there was a lot of heat on Tommy Condell. And he followed up all the questions with, we want to get Brady the ball. Yeah, I mean, one of the least creative game plans I think we've seen in a long time. Thoughts on this, like trying to establish the identity the way they did last night? I hate to say what most Bomber fans would tell you the identity of this team is right now at 4-on-4 after 4 losses at Princess Auto Stadium.
Well, it's funny. After the game, Brady Oliveira was singing a much different tune this week. Last week, he was criticizing the team, and honestly, rightfully so. Like, he was preaching the truth. There was nothing Brady said last week, saying how this team is lacking in identity and offense. None of that is wrong. He's 100% accurate. But this week, it's obviously he got a slap on the wrist from someone because he said after the game, well, this one, is on me. I could have been so much better. I should have punched it in early on in those early drives down on the red zone. I got tackled. I got to break those tackles, blah, blah, blah. And the O-line up front, those guys were awesome. And, this one's on me. I got to be better, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, Brady, no offense, man. Like, that's great that you're, trying to be a team guy and whatever, but this one was not on you, my friend. Like, you balled out. And this Lions team, as big of a mess as they've been all season, one thing they've been really good at is stopping the run. They've been holding opponents before this week to I believe 55 rushing yards a game, which is absurd. And yet Brady still was able to churn out over 100 yards, which was great. But again, the air attack, the passing attack, or lack thereof, was so evident. Drew Brown is just all these short little passes, right? Except for that, I think there's a 37-yard pass to Ontario Wilson, which then set up that 2-yard touchdown pass to Tim White. they weren't doing anything creatively. It was just running the ball, giving the ball to Brady, and that's great. He's one of the best players in the league, but this is the CFL. You do have to pass the ball as well. So I don't know, kind of felt like Tommy Condell early on was trying to make a statement like, okay, you guys are all begging me to run the ball more. Well, here it is. We're going to run the ball down their throats. And then the second half is like, okay, well, you need to air it out a little bit too. So it felt kind of silly that people were begging for Tommy to air it out because that's historically what he does. But yeah, I mean, this was an opportunity for these Bombers to really make a statement, and really kind of say like, okay, we got this team that's reeling right now in our backyard. Let's kick their ass, for lack of a better term. And in the end, they're the ones that got their asses kicked, and it's hard to believe.
You mentioned, I mean, obviously it was, I mean, kind of funny almost, like the commitment to the run, shall we say, over and over again. I mean, there was no balance whatsoever in the offense. But as you mentioned, like, you look at Drew's numbers, he was 18 to 21. It was all short stuff. And I'm not sure that, what happened in the Ottawa game where they got away with it and then all those picks in the Calgary game. I'm not sure there was a lot of trust in the starting quarterback last night.
No, definitely not. And to an extent, again, like I do understand that, like Drew's been okay, but like he hasn't been great, right? He has been reckless with the football. And when you're playing a rookie quarterback making his first career start, the last thing you want to do is be giving him short fields, right? And turning the ball over and giving him more opportunities. But in a way, by being so, uncreative or lacking creativity on offense and punting so often, they did nothing but punt the ball in the second quarter. You're basically turning the ball over, like you said, and, giving the BC Lions time to figure things out and find their footing and whatever. And to Caden Salter's credit, I mean, he didn't really make any major mistakes. No, he didn't really shock the world with his arm and, make a big statement there. But I mean, he played clean football. He didn't make any stupid throws. And of course, he did all his damage, or did most of the damage, with his legs. And, we could spend an hour just talking about how terrible the Bombers were against the run in this game. But yeah, you got to tip your cap to the Lions as well. I mean, they knew they were shorthanded this week, and they're like, well, let's run the football. And they did it. They did it to the extreme. And for the Bombers, it's like, coming into this game, you had to have known that the Lions were going to be relying on his athleticism and, handing off the ball early and often. And by watching the game, you would have thought that the Bombers had absolutely no idea that the run was coming. It was unbelievable.
Salter finished 7 of 15 for 96 yards and a touchdown. Not quite. This is not quite the Strevler 3 completion game, but it's not far off. Because of course the run was established by the British Columbia Lions, 377 yards on the ground. That looks like a typo when you see it, Taylor. That just does not happen in the Canadian Football League. And I got to tell you, I don't know how much sleep Jordan Younger got last night, but there is so much work to be done. I mean, where do you even start with the defensive performance last night?
Well, the Lions set a franchise record last night, 377 rushing yards, which is absurd. And Caden Salter, he broke the franchise record for most rushing yards by a quarterback last night as well. And Xander Horvath, who the heck is this guy? I mean, he was averaging 2.74 yards per carry heading into this week. And yet in that game, he looked like, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson, Mike Pinball Clemens, Charles Roberts, whatever name you want to use. He looked like all those guys basically because he couldn't be tackled, especially towards the end there. It felt like every time he was touching the ball, he was scampering 30, 40, 50 yards and getting into the end zone. My goodness, what a game that guy had. So, yeah, if you're the Bombers, I mean, offensively, again, there's so many questions about the offense and them lacking an identity and what's going on with Tommy Condell and stuff. But I mean, this defense isn't doing them any favors either. I mean, they've had some flashes, right? And there's some numbers, statistically, you look at them against some other teams in the league, like they rack up okay. But I mean, a game like that, my goodness, that was pathetic. Truly, truly pathetic. And you go on the message boards and Facebook and Twitter, whatever, people are calling for Jordan Younger's head. And I think, that is a bit extreme, But right now, you look at this defense, their best player is 35-year-old Willie Jefferson. He's been balling out, 4 games in a row with the sack. But it's like, Willie needs some help here. And Dietrich Nichols, for years I felt like weeks would go by without him, giving up a single reception, right? He was as locked down of a halfback that as there is in this league. And now it feels like every week he's kind of given up a big play, and he can't catch a freaking football. This guy can't catch a cold. He had 2 primetime opportunities to intercept passes, right? And he let both of them slip through his fingers. And this Bombers team, 8 games in, they've only picked off 2 passes. Just 2. So again, this offense, as big of a mess as they are, this defense isn't helping them either. You got to force some turnovers, especially when you're playing a rookie quarterback playing his first ever game. How is that guy not turning the ball over once?
Well, and this is what was so inexcusable about it. Why I totally understand the heat that is being directed at Jordan Younger. Like, they were able to run the football well. Salter wasn't scaring anybody with his arm. How in the world do they not beef up the contain on the quarterback, put a little bit more heat, and force him to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with his arm? If they tried to do that, it certainly didn't work, because he would seemingly take a quick look, run out over and over and over. He averaged 16 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean, that first half, he had I think it was 76 or 79 yards alone. So you kind of thought, like, okay, at the halftime, I'm sure the Bombers going to make some adjustments and try to dare this kid to beat him with his arm. And well, clearly they did not, because he kept dancing all over the place and making it look super easy. So yeah, that was just a pathetic performance. I mean, and Mike O'Shea after the game, of course, was asked about, like, hey, what happened against the run there? And the first thing he said was, oof. It's like, yeah, well, oof is right, because that was terrible. And then he was going on about, but well, it's towards the end of the game, guys are a bit tired and whatever, and they're not trying to make the easy play, and this kind of happens and whatever. And it's like, dude, Mike, I get it. You never throw anyone under the bus. I get it. You're always Mr. Glass half full. I get it. You never give us media folk anything really to chew on. But after a game like that, if there's ever a time to stand behind that podium and say, that was BS, we have to be better. There is no way we can let any team, whether it's a rookie quarterback or a guy who started for 10 years, come into our backyard and embarrass like that. That is inexcusable. And yet, he was Mr. Ho-hum. And I don't get it. I really do not get it.
Taylor, going into last night's game, as ugly as the start at home has been, and, the 52 that Calgary scored, you looked at, the next 3 weeks, and they had, BC coming in with the rookie QB, a bye week, and then a home game against Ottawa. And it really did seem like it was sort of set up for the Bombers get to 6-3, midway point in the season, put themselves in a really good spot. Now the team's 4-4 going into the bye week, and I'm not even sure there's a huge level of confidence going against Ottawa, even if they still come in with 0 wins. They should have beaten the Bombers a few weeks ago. Where does this team go from here?
Well, they're 4-4, and honestly, they should be thrilled to be 4-4, because honestly, they should be probably 2-6. Do they beat the BC Lions if Jake Ceresna doesn't, roll up on Bo Levi Mitchell? The Tiger Cats, if Jake Ceresna doesn't hurt Bo Levi Mitchell a few weeks ago? Absolutely not. There's no way they win that game with Taylor Ellersma then coming in for an injured Zach Claris. Do they beat the Ottawa Red Blacks a few weeks ago if Shakur Brown, a defender on the Red Blacks, doesn't drop not 1, not 2, but 3 what should have been interceptions from Drew Brown? Absolutely not. So those are 2 victories that honestly they had no business taking, but hey, whatever, they won. But moving ahead, yep, they have the bye, so hopefully they find their game, because after that, my goodness, it does not get easy. Yes, they get the Red Blacks, and that's the game they absolutely have to win, because after they play lowly Ottawa, they get Edmonton, Montreal, and then, of course, the annual back-to-back with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So in those 4 games, Edmonton, Montreal, Saskatchewan. Right now, anyone, how confident could you be that the Bombers are going to win? I'll be generous. More than one of those. You could argue that they'll probably go 0-4, but we'll say, can the Bombers really go 2-2 in that stretch? 3-1, 4-0? Absolutely not from what we've seen from them so far. So that Ottawa game, 2 weeks from now, I hate when people say must-win games unless it truly is a must-win. And again, it's going to be a game in August. There really isn't a must-win game. But that feels as close to a must-win game as there possibly can be for the CFL in August for those Blue Bombers.
Well, it's funny you say that. We were talking about yesterday's game on the show yesterday, and we're like, is it a must-win? No, but it's a can't lose. And, I mean, they lost in spectacular fashion. I'm just pulling up, like, the drive chart and whatnot. 25 points against in the fourth quarter at Princess Auto Stadium. And I'll say this, unbelievable crowd last night. Perfect night. I mean, it was literally set to be one of those highlights of the entire season. You know, you go out, you have a strong performance in front of another great crowd on a perfect summer night, and it just completely fell apart. And it kind of seems like this might be a bit of an analogy for the season right now, because the start was okay, and the longer it's gone, the worse it's got. And I don't think there's any way you can say that this is anything short of really a crisis for the team. And I do wonder, Taylor, with the bye week coming up, do we think that we'll see some changes? Personnel, will be some guys moved out? I mean, how different might this team look coming back from the bye? Or is this going to be the same old head in the sand Bombers that have faith in the guys and believe in the team and just hope they can go out and get a different result doing the same things?
If this was any other organization in pro football, Huss, I would say yes. There would probably be some changes made on offense and defense. Maybe this guy called up from the PR. Maybe this guy subbed out, try a new look here, whatever. But this is Mike O'Shea and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He's as great as Mike is. He's also very stubborn and he's very loyal. For example, their best offensive lineman is Jarrell Broxton, who should be playing left tackle. And no offense to Stanley Bryant, who is the greatest offensive lineman in CFL history. He's no longer that, right? He looks like he's 40 years old. He's been making mistakes week after week after week. And yet Broxton is going to be cemented at right tackle. There's no way Mike's going to ever move him to left tackle with Stanley on the team. So no, I do not foresee any major changes other than, Zach Collaros more than likely being back 2 weeks from now.
I mean, how much can Zach change? I mean, to be honest with you, you could have prime, Doug Flutie in last night. I mean, if the other team's running for almost 400 yards on you, I'm sorry, you're not winning in the Canadian Football League.
I mean, Zach Collaros will definitely be better once he gets back. I mean, they hired the offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell, for Zach Collaros, but if people think, a 37 or 38-year-old Zach Collaros who's coming off of back-to-back lackluster seasons is going to solve all the issues, I mean, I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. And just look at this team when they play at home, though. I think that's kind of the biggest issue with this team right now. I mean, they're 1-4 at Princess Auto Stadium this year. Between 2017 and 2025, they were 54-14. In those glory years, all those years they're going to the Grey Cup, it never felt like, hey, are the Bombers going to win tonight? It felt like, how much are they going to win by tonight? And now they play a team like BC again with these backups and whatever, and there's still questions like, shoot, can the Bombers pull this off? And this season, no, they haven't been able to pull it off. So, yeah, it's just been mind-blowing to see how poorly this team has played at home. This isn't Blue Bomber football. This is not what fans around here are used to seeing. And if they don't start winning games at home soon, obviously they're going to be in pretty big trouble.
Taylor, this is, listen, it's a devastating to the psyche, I think, of the team and certainly of the fan base. I mean, now with 4 losses at Princess Auto Stadium so far in the year, as you just laid out, I don't think confidence has been as low in this team since 2019, literally, we're probably going to have to go back like 8-9 years to have a feeling like this club has right now. But when you look at the standings, the loss last night was, massive for BC. They're 2-5 right now. They've got a game in hand on the Bombers. If they can win that, they're just 1 game back. Nathan Rourke will be back in all likelihood next game. And then the Calgary Stampeders, who are 3-4, got that huge win. The Bombers, I got to tell you, and you kind of laid out this schedule moving forward. I mean, hopefully you can get that win against Ottawa, but with that loss last night, I mean, I can't think that this is going to be anything but a white knuckle ride just to make the playoffs, potentially just to get a crossover.
Which is insane, right? Coming off of the offseason that they just had, signing Jake Ceresna, Tim White, Jonathan Moxey, Jarrell Broxton, Tommy Neild. The talk was, hey, could this team win the West? And now, so we have to have this conversation right now. This team might, and I'm saying might not even make the playoffs. I mean, the Calgary Stampeders so far, they look like a better team. And the BC Lions, with them getting that win last night, they're back to life. If the Bombers would have beat them yesterday, could have been a whole different story. But once that Lions team gets Nathan Rourke, and for whatever reason, this team seems to start slow every season, we all know that they're going to be better in the back half of the year too. So this Bombers team, I mean, never mind a home playoff game, never mind having the rum hut in October. Like, it's going to be tough to even just be the crossover team. So things are a lot different. I've been covering this team since 2019, and it's been all sunshine, lollipops, and gumdrops basically around here. But this year, it's a lot different for sure.
Well, and, listen, I think that there's a lot of heat justifiably on the coordinators. I mean, the players didn't execute. And, I think that, listen, Mike O'Shea's a legend. He's the winningest coach in Blue Bomber history. But I think there's some big and serious questions as to the direction of this football team right now. And probably not going to be a very fun bye week for everyone. Certainly not with the stench that they left the stadium with going off for a week. But if this team doesn't get significantly better in pretty much every phase, we are going to be talking about can the team sneak into a spot potentially for a crossover, or just to be part of the teams invited to the playoff party in the Canadian Football League. Hey, before we go, quick thought on the main event of the schedule this weekend, Sask Edmonton on Saturday night. Looks like it's going to be a great crowd. Awesome for Edmonton, awesome for the league. But man, after the classic these two teams played last week, I got to tell you, I haven't been as excited for a non-Bomber game in the regular season in the CFL for a long time.
Yeah, the CFL is so much better when Edmonton is in the thick of it, and they definitely are right now. And I just saw this morning that they announced that they're actually going to open the upper deck at Commonwealth Stadium as well, which is fantastic news. So, that I mean, they have a pretty tough act to follow, obviously, but the West is going through Edmonton and Saskatchewan, so it's going to be another heavyweight tilt for sure. So that's going to be a must-watch TV as opposed to last night. Whether even if you were a Lions fan or a Bombers fan, that was not the prettiest game of CFL football. So hopefully Saturday kind of makes up for that dud.
Yeah, well, Bomber fans, I'll tell you this: if you were hoping to slide into the long weekend on a real high from Thursday night, that obviously didn't happen. But it can only go up from here for what will hopefully be a great long weekend. You have a good one, Taylor. We'll look forward to catching up with you when the team's back on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great long weekend, everyone.
All right, good stuff with Taylor. We got to just get away from the Bombers for a bit. The long weekend is here. We got the Manitoba Derby coming up. Darren Dunn's going to join us in just a sec. But we will talk about the other games. Ben Kramer going to pop on, and we will hook up with the Hacksaw as the NFL camps are open around the league. Hey, if you're sticking around town or maybe getting out of the city, but looking to pick up a few things, stop off at the new Princess Auto beforehand. You want camping gear? They got it. A brand new big fishing section. Pretty much anything you could possibly need, both for your own projects and ideas or getting out and making the most of the Manitoba summers waiting for you at Princess Auto. 500 Panet Road, 105,000 square feet is waiting for you. Don't forget, come hungry. You got to try that smash burger and maybe a cold one for your shopping. Princess Auto online, of course, princessauto.com. But if you have not made it out to the new flagship store on 500 Panet Road, this weekend would be a great time to do it. I know the Derminator and the gang at Chud's Power Sports are fired up for August long weekend. Huge up in Gimli. Many people are going to be heading out there for Icelandic Fest. While you're there, head on over to Chud's, the corner of Highway 8 and 231. Of course, Chud's Power Sports is Manitoba's power sports superstore for 80 years with the best in new and used vehicles, including motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, golf carts, boats and outboard motors, RVs, Polaris, off-road vehicles, Argos as well. We had a great time doing the show out there before, so if you are out in Gimli, make a point of getting over to Chud's. Incredible staff, most experienced in the business. And they've also got great deals at their True North Parts site, which you can get through chudspowersports.com with great deals on clearance gear and accessories. Chud's is ready for Gimli's Icelandic Fest. Pop out and see him this weekend when many of you are heading out on that side of the lake. And hey, as we get closer to fall, many of you might want to take care of a trip to the dentist. Hey, and I'll tell you what, normally that's not maybe at the top of your priority list, but I'll tell you what, you get down to see our friends at St. Vital Dental Center. They'll take real good care of you. And if you are looking for a long-term home for you and your family, they've been taking care of generations of Winnipeggers and Manitobans. Got a beautiful new facility at 167 St. Anne's Road, convenient free parking right behind the building. And, of course, a full array of dental services with Dr. Terry and his team, from cleanings and checkups all the way to things like dental implants. They do it all. Check them out online at stviteldental.ca. You can make an appointment there as well. Pop in, get that smile worked on, and make sure to say hi from the guys at Winnipeg Sports Talk. Last night was a disaster for the Bombers. We do have some great action, though, tonight and tomorrow in the CFL. Ottawa, Montreal tonight. If you're looking for a great spot to get out of the heat, get a little AC, a couple cold ones, maybe some world-famous BP wings, gourmet pizzas. Boston Pizza's the spot to do it. We got the game tonight, and then tomorrow night's big one, Sask and Edmonton in Commonwealth Stadium. They're into the upper deck today. So as I said, if you are around the city on the weekend looking for a great spot to watch the big game, it's always Boston Pizza. And hey, staying at home, get the great taste of BP by ordering online at bostonpizza.com. All right, let's get ready for the Derby on the weekend. Then Hacksaw and Ben will pop by. Marbles coming up as well. But out to the track we go with Darren Dunn from Assiniboia Downs. August long weekend, and you know what that means. It is Derby time. The 78th running of the Manitoba Derby goes Monday night at Assiniboia Downs. And the grand poobah of the track, Darren Dunn, joins us now. Double D, how are you, my friend? Great to have you back on Winnipeg Sports Talk.
Thanks, Huss. Excited, thrilled. I'm a fan of this sport beyond obviously working out here and have for decades. So this really is the big one for us. It's the pinnacle of our season, though every day special, and we love our equine athletes, whether they're at lower level or top shelf. But this is top shelf. This is the good whiskey coming out on Monday night.
You know, it's, just before we get to Monday, hopefully all the adversity has been already endured. Kind of a tough week and a crazy Wednesday night with that weather.
You know, it's almost a tale of weather this whole season. I mean, look, no surprise. Obviously, I'm an outdoor sport like Bombers, like the Gold Eyes, et cetera, et cetera. But we start spring training before anyone else in March, and, you know, winter wouldn't let go. Training was compromised. So we had smaller fields at the start of the year. Local horses weren't fit and ready, and you have to be very careful about that. So we got off to a monsoon rains in June. I mean, like, let it rain, let it rain. I mean, my God, Fred Astaire was tap dancing across our tarmac every single night when we had constant sloppy tracks, double the rain in June. And then just when that ends, I will say we have had an amazing July. However, just when you think you could get just a little bit comfortable, along comes Wednesday night. And the Humidex rating is what did us in before the storm that would have done us in anyways. But we've got strict guidelines. Our equine athletes mean the world to us, and we err on the side of caution. And in that sense, all stars actually aligned to be well within the regulations, and then it's like a heat dome over us that wouldn't go away, the combination of that, the heat and the humidity, and we had to pull the plug. Having said that, we took some responsible delays, voluntary delays, but that wind and lightning storm that found its way to West and South Winnipeg would have done us in probably after 2 or 3 races. So it just was not meant to be. It's been a season of weather, but we put up some good numbers. The crowds have been very strong in July, and people love coming out, and we're so appreciative.
Well, the good news is we got a beautiful weekend setting up, and 24 on Monday, absolutely perfect for the biggest race of the year. How are things shaping up for the 78th running of the Manitoba Derby?
You know, Hustler, we have a 9-horse field, and one of the strongest wide open fields. And I'm not just sitting here pumping tires of here comes the race or anything like that. I've obviously been around this race for many, many years, decades. Announced this race probably 25 times in another lifetime as a broadcaster. But as CEO out here and the person responsible for the racing program, ultimately, I'm just in awe of the field that's been assembled. The quality, I have never seen such deep quality. Usually we have, 2 or 3 horses that stand above the rest and create a strong favorite. In this case, I think you could throw a dart and hit maybe 6 or 7 of the 9 horses, and you would be well represented Monday night. So a lot of quality, and a lot of people really stepped up to buy the kind of horse that you need to win this race.
Give us a breakdown of the field. It's a healthy 9 horses that are planned to go to a post on Monday night, and a bit of a mix of local horses as well as others coming in for the biggest race of the year here in the Peg.
Yeah, exactly. That's well captured. I'll say locally, 3 locals, but 2 that stand above the rest. Really, Rallis is a horse who won the Derby trial, the prep for this race. A strong horse who can stalk maybe 4 or 5 lengths off and then rally, loves our long stretch. Prime Suspect is a horse purchased for $75,000 US back in early February, strictly pointed towards this race. So happy for the local ownership to get to this race first and foremost. That's an honor and a thrill, but they want to get the cash. They ran second in the Golden Boy, lost a tight finish there, third in the Derby trial. Very capable horse, bred to run all day long. So local representation is strong. And then just the horses coming in, a horse Direct Strike, back-to-back starts at Churchill Downs, bought specifically for this race. Some local owners, so I guess I'll call this a local horse, but he's never raced here yet. Just went out to Saratoga, the famed New York racetrack, racing right now, and bought an incredible horse named Jeff Samani. He's going to run here. There's a horse coming off a huge win at Lone Star Park out of Dallas, connected to Robertino Diodoro. The trainer has won this race 4 times, a record 4 times. Actually won it 5 times. He won it last year and got disqualified. First time ever we've had the winner disqualified. And this goes back to a race that started in 1930. And then I can go a little bit further. Our top 8 time, I believe it's 8 consecutive years winning owner, Henry Witt, based out of Texas, who spends a lot of money in Manitoba, spent $80,000 US at late June to grab his Derby horse, Quarry. Western Warriors, the favorite, horse purchased out of Churchill Downs by way of Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Wicked Tier 1 tough race meet. This is quality horse flesh. It'll be a fun race. For me, obviously, I don't wager on them, get them around there safely, let the best horse win that day. But for those who are able to, as you say, sprinkle a little, lots of options, and you'll be well represented with whoever you pick. I'm certain of that.
How, sometimes we'll go into the Derby and there will be a clear favorite, and, it'll be kind of a really short number and then bigger elsewhere. Are you anticipating a bit more of a wide open field, if you will, and maybe some numbers that don't end up focusing just on one singular horse?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. That is a bit of a trend with our race, because usually, a hammerhead shark enters the waters and, dominates the rest of the fish, if you will. And in this case, or usually, $4 horse, $3 horse. And, the morning line favorite right now is 2-1. In other words, $6. And I don't even think this horse is going to be $6. I think this is going to be 6 or 7 as the favorite, and a lot of horses in that, even $6 to $20 range that are strong contenders. I mean, even Prime Suspect, the local horse I talked about, I don't know how this horse is 15-1 on the morning line, which is, $2 win bet gets you back $32. I can't believe that if you could get $32 on Prime Suspect, you've got a great value horse, though he's going to have his running shoes on. Really, Rallis, the other local horse that I think has a huge shot, 8-1 on the morning line. And so $18 off the horse who won the prep for this, is based out of here, mowed them down with a lot left last time. I mean, really, Rallis, the only knock might be that the horse only had 4 starts, so it's a little inexperienced, but that horse, I think, is just going to be an absolute handful, even for this serious, quality horse flesh that's coming in from elsewhere. So long-winded answer, Hustler, but honestly, this is pick your poison and enjoy.
Prime suspect, when we were out at the track, I guess 3 weeks ago on the Monday, well, the Wiener Dog Day, by the way, that was a huge hit.
It sure was.
15 deep at the track for the event.
Can't believe it, actually.
But I believe Prime Suspect was racing that night. And I heard a few people talking about local owners jumping in. And, even at that moment, it was all eyes on the Derby for horses of that caliber. And, of course, it's all leading up to Monday. There is more than just one horse. I mean, fill us in. This is always a huge day. You really, I think, focus on the Monday of August long weekend. For people that maybe haven't been out or haven't been paying too close attention, fill us in on the lineup for Monday. Of course, free admission, free parking, and you do it big on Derby Day.
Yeah, we do, Hustler. You're right, and I appreciate the free admission and free parking plug. There's not many sporting events you can say that is attached to anymore in this day and age. But we also have the $50,000 Harvey Warner Manitoba Mile, so it's the older horses on the ground, the best top older horses on the ground. We have the $50,000 escape clause for fillies and mares, the best older girls on the grounds. So when you add that to the Manitoba Derby, you have the three Tier 1 best horse flesh period on the property going out on the track. But then let's go to the wagering side a little bit. We have our jackpot pick 5. You guys know about that, and we've had this before where you have to pick 5 winners in a row, but you have to be the only person to pick 5 winners in a row. And if you do, you take down the jackpot. If you don't, if 2 or more pick 5 winners, which has happened since the start of the year, which we're fortunate on one hand as the operator because this pool is built. So we're just under $500,000 in money that will seed this wager on Monday night. You add in the global eyes and wagering dollars on it, we think this bet's going to be over $2 million. If somebody takes it down by themselves, we're going to cut them a check for $2 million on Monday night. So little better odds, to say the least, in Lotto 649 is in you can control your fate, you can handicap the race, and get a few long shots in there, and the payoff could be just astronomical. Having said that, we also have a $100,000 guaranteed pick 4, which is a fun bet to pick 4 races in a row. And then just the fun stuff, the free stuff, if you will. If you're just out here with a couple of bucks, or you don't even want to bet, you want to pick a name, pick a color, you pick your house numbers. We're going to have a contest, draw 5 names. You get a $100 win bet on the race, and that'd be fun. And, wear the Derby attire, the fascinators, the hats, the chapeaus, take a picture there. We'll draw for a $100 gift card. The kids, bouncy castles, a magician, face painting, balloons, et cetera, et cetera. Everything that I think you would expect to be a celebration of racing in Manitoba, but geared towards our biggest night. And the fact that it is Monday night, Hustler, again, long weekend, I get it. It's lake life in this province. So go enjoy the lake, have a safe and wonderful weekend. But in the back of your mind, get home a little bit early and do the Downs Monday night and really finish off that long weekend in style and join us.
It's such an exciting day, and if anyone's been out for the Derby, there's a special buzz at the track unlike any other day of the year. I got to tell you, though, there's been a lot of buzzing out at Assiniboia Downs this year. You mentioned there's been a few hits due to the weather, but overall, Darren, every time I've been out to the track, I've been blown away at just how many people have been out.
Appreciate
It's
that.
been a really successful. I mean, obviously we know what's happening with the signal and the pools are going up, but for actually people on the ground, it seems like there's some real momentum right now with ASD.
Amen, brother. I will say, outside of, again, what we already talked about, the sluggish start due to the weather, which does impact walk-up crowd for sure. But boy, I'll tell you, when the sun shines, we're packing this place in. And it's great because it's just, you can stand outside, jump on a bench, strike a program on your leg. You can hear the thundering hooves. Go watch them get saddled in the paddock. Open air grandstand gives you a view of the racetrack, and all the way to Portage in Maine. You can see, want a little climate control off to the clubhouse. There's 140 VLTs as well. So all I'm getting at is it's the ability to be really rink rink side, close to the athletes, and you get a real feel for how the sport goes down and in real time. And I think it just presents differently than most sports where you might be that far away. You're so up front and close here when you can hear the sights, hear the sounds, take in the sights, and have so many different options around this, 1958 iconic facility in Western Winnipeg. I think it's special. And yeah, I have a bias, but 44 years of my life spent out here, 16 years as CEO, not by accident in the sense that I'm committed to a place that is committed to Manitoba, and we look forward to having everybody out again. And what we've got for attendance this year has been just such a pleasant surprise. We so appreciate it, and just want to keep that momentum going.
Well, it should be a banner day Monday night. Now, I'm sure all weekend people are going to be hitting you up. Darren, who do you like in the Derby? Who do you like in the Derby?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a few days. Do you have a lean right now? I mean, I know you said this is something.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I think 40-20, the horse from Dallas is going to be very hard to catch on the front end. They let this horse go out. They will only see its tail. It'll be gone and win wire to wire. At a good dollar as well. Locally, really Rallis and Prime Suspect, I think, are dead live at a quality price for both horses. The other ones coming from elsewhere, I guess I'd have to say that horse from Saratoga, New York, which is as tough a race meet as you'll find on the planet. That horse is an incredible racehorse, and none of the horses I've just talked about are even the favorite on paper. So I'm going to go with it's a local base because the ownership group behind that Saratoga, New York horse, Jeff Samani's the name of the horse, is based out of just out of St. Rose, I believe, St. Rose, Manitoba. So some great folks, and they're so enthusiastic. They have an amazing filly here as well, who's won some stakes races. So, I'm Switzerland, get them around there safely. But truth be told, obviously I lean local. So let's get it done and raise that Queen's Cup here with some local friends.
Well, it's going to be a phenomenal one. And just quickly on this, the winner of this race, I mean, this kind of opens up some doors to some other big-time events across the country.
It does, absolutely. You win this race, first of all, $125,000 race. You're going to get $75,000 right off the hop, which is a very nice return. 3 weeks from now is the Canadian Derby that actually started in Winnipeg. That was the original Manitoba Derby that drifted out there and was renamed the Canadian Derby before it came back here in 1960. But that's a $200,000 race. You finish first, second, or third, Hustler, in the Manitoba Derby, you're going to Edmonton in 3 weeks, and you are going to be crossing your fingers and toes because that's $200,000 on the line, 120 in the jeans if you take that one home. And then, the world is your oyster, what you do with your horse after that. But Western Canada has a very strong racing program with a lot of dough on the line, and if you bring a shooter, you can get a real return.
Darren, I'm fired up for the weekend, and I cannot wait for the main event, if you will, the grand finale of August long weekend, Manitoba Derby, Monday night. Post time is 7:30 p.m. for the card. What race is it on the card?
It's going to go as race 6 out of 7, and full fields, big fields on Monday night. So lots to choose from. And as I mentioned, those 2 other stakes races as well. So a little bit for everybody.
Darren, all the best to you, your wonderful staff, everyone taking part in the big card on Monday night. Here's to a great 78th running of the Manitoba Derby. Have a great one, pal. Thanks so much for doing this.
Appreciate it. Let's get it done, boys. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. We're going to hit some CFL lines with Ben Kramer. We will get to some pretty cool promos and stuff cooking at Coolbet. And Hacksaw as well just before Marbles. Hey, great time to get down to Royal Sports, folks. Obviously, we got hockey season just around the corner. And whether you're a fan looking for a Vigo Bjork jersey or a Perfetti or getting ready for your Jets gear or a player, Royal, of course, has the biggest hockey department in town, with the experts working in the department as well. They've been doing it for over 50 years as Winnipeg's local hockey superstore. But there's so much more in the middle of summer: soccer, softball, tennis, baseball, running, and so many bicycles, including e-bikes. It's all waiting for you at Royal. And you NFL fans, new NFL merch coming in weekly right now ahead of your fantasy drafts and NFL kickoff next week. Royal Sports, 750 Pembina Highway. Give them a follow as well on Instagram at Royal Sports Winnipeg for the latest merchandise drops, new gear, and sale information. Of course, we'll keep you updated on when the next big world-famous Royal Sports tent sale is coming up as well. Tonight's the night. It's not the Winnipeg Goldeyes. It's the Manitoba Mosquitoes, the alternate identity night. 7 o'clock, first pitch down at the ballpark. Fireworks after the game. And while supplies last, all that cool Manitoba Mosquitoes merchandise that'll be ready. You might want to get there earlier. When you do, at least go straight for that stuff because it has been in high demand. Fish also at home tomorrow. They've got the movie night. They'll be playing Barbie after the game. And big family day, 1 o'clock start on Sunday. No game on Monday. And then Tuesday, doubleheader, Wednesday and Thursday as well. No better time to get out the ballpark than in the middle of the summer. Goldeyes' 6-game homestand begins tonight as the Manitoba Mosquitoes. Of course, we just talked to Darren Dunn with the Assiniboia Downs. Don't forget the Derby coming up on Monday night. And hey, you can get out of the city for the weekend and still get back in time for the Derby. But if you are planning some adventures this weekend or still thinking about a last-minute trip, start with Travel Manitoba. Whether you're searching for road trip inspiration, hidden gems, or the latest festivals and events, everything you need is waiting at travelmanitoba.com. Looking for ideas on the go? Follow along on social media at Travel Manitoba for real-time inspiration, local tips, and can't-miss experiences from across the province. Or if you prefer a personal touch, stop by the Visitor Information Center at the Forks in Winnipeg. All right, before we get Hacksaw in here for a little NFL, let's bring in our pal Ben Kramer to get us ready for the other games in the Canadian Football League. Listen, fun for Bomber fans to focus on these other games because last night, Ben, was a turd of epic proportion. Yeah. You had no skin in the game. How shocking was that performance by the home team last night to you?
I always have skin in the game.
Yeah,
that's not the problem, right?
Well, you're not a Bomber fan.
Yeah, no, that was an unmitigated disaster. I had Tim White over at 55.5. I finally could cheer for Dimsky overs after I've been unders all season. He finally turned it around, went the other direction. I had Oliveira unders at 75 because BC's run defense has been just so good this year. And that was the most unexpected outcome I could possibly have seen from that game. Like, Winnipeg has been 67% passing all season. And last night they just decided to do the opposite and regress to kind of 2018 levels, when it was just run and see what happens, never showing any aggression downfield. And in many ways, that's what Brown had been best at in some ways, is taking the top off defense and creating some space. So, yeah, that was a confusing one. And I'm sure for their defense, it was tough too, because you have to play against what's essentially a college offense that's running a triple option on you. Nobody practices for that, right? Like, that was really hard to just pick up in game. But nonetheless, yeah, when you go into a game as full touchdown favorites, and you lay the egg they did with your quarterback going 18 for 21 for 150 yards, it just shows no creativity, no punch, and it's probably a tough day in Winnipegville.
Oh, man. I mean, listen, no trust in the quarterback. And listen, he'd been pretty careless with the football, at least when they've been trying to come back. And then all the talk about the running game, it was almost like there was a hubris, a level of stubbornness just to keep doing it. Oh, you want the ball? Okay, here we go. And then, I mean, an absolute lack of confidence in the offense, kicking those short field goals. I mean, it was an unmitigated disaster, and needless to say, that's dominated the conversation so far this week. There's some interesting line movements so far this week. I mean, I saw your tweet early on that Montreal opened up as 4.5-point favorites over Ottawa. That quickly shot up to 7.5, but it's actually, I see a cool bit now. It's actually come back down to 6.5. Calgary was 5.5. It's down to 4. And we've had a 3.5-point swing from the Elks, who were 1.5-point favorites. Now we've seen the Riders as high as 2-point favorites.
Yeah, it's a funny week. Well, that's the thing with CFL. There isn't a ton of liquidity in the market. So if any amount of money comes in one direction or the other, you can see the line swing pretty quickly. Like even on the props, when my stuff launches, you'll see lines move 10 and 15 yards sometimes within an hour or two, right? So if there's not a lot of money out there, any amount of money can change things. But nonetheless, seeing 3-point swings and 4-point swings is quite a bit in a short period of time. That Montreal line was desperately surprising to me. I have no idea what books are thinking at only 4.5-point favorites when they absolutely dominated Ottawa their last time around just a month ago, and Ottawa needed the late kick return touchdown to pull it within double digits, right? So it was an ugly backdoor cover, but only 4.5 this time around. That popped out to me real fast. So I expected it to get closer to 8.5 by the time we got to kickoff. Maybe it does get back there in the end, but somebody seems to have confidence in Ottawa that I certainly don't. They're a winless team facing one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league. Montreal's passing game has been absolutely brutal this year. They just absolutely pound guys down the middle with that two-headed monster that they've got with Philpott and Sneed. I don't know how Ottawa has any opportunity to try and stop that. They're giving up almost 10 yards an attempt through the air this season. One of the worst pass defenses that we've seen in quite some time, actually. So, yeah, I think Montreal probably puts on an air show tonight, and it's not going to be actually that close. The over, I think, was at 60.5. And that seems pretty fair, too, given they scored, I think, 72 last time around. So, yeah, it will be an interesting one, but I expect a fair bit of fireworks. It will be entertaining at the very least, even if it doesn't win close.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just seeing a cool bit. Davis Alexander's passing total, 335.5, and Jake Mayer pushing 300 as well.
Yeah, those were funny numbers this week. Like, as I was putting through projections, if we just went at year-to-date rates without any kind of adjustments to them, Davis Alexander would have projected for about 375 pass yards tonight in the model that I run. We're never going to release that number because that's absurd. So I had to kind of pull it back in a little bit, but yeah, over 325, I think, is where it opened. 335 is still a pretty playable number in many ways. I think the actual projection that we got to was somewhere around 355, so there's a little bit of room to move there yet. Jake Mayer's a funny story, right? 300 yards is about where we have him projected, but he could be done by halftime if they struggle. He could be done by the first quarter if he throws a couple of interceptions with Macbeth kind of waiting in the wings there. So, yeah, if he plays the full game, 300 is probably about a fair number, but he could be done at any time, and any kind of lower pressure that you have on a prop projection like that, it certainly gets interesting because you've got a number of different factors working in your favor if you're looking at the under.
We got a hell of a doubleheader tomorrow in the CFL, starting it off 2 o'clock our time, Calgary, Hamilton. Stamps now laying 4 on the road at 3-4, but looking far better than a 3-4 team. Certainly in comparison to the 4-4 team here in Winnipeg. And then the main event, following up the classic the Riders and Elks put on last Thursday. They're now in Edmonton. Should be a great crowd. Just amazing for the CFL. Yeah. Thoughts on those games overall and the lines, Ben, before we kind of dive into any props you like?
Yeah, I think with Calgary Hamilton, it's going to be interesting. They're looking at potential thunderstorms and a bit of wind in the afternoon there because the game wears on. If that happens, then you start to get a bit more pressure on the under that works into people's ideas. So I think Calgary probably has the opportunity to get out there and sling it around. They've got Damian Alford back in the lineup now that should give them a little bit of a downfield threat. Even if all he can do is run straight and catch rainbow balls, that's something that they haven't had in Calgary much for the last season with a lot of their receivers hurt. So I think it takes a little bit of pressure off some of those other guys. And then it's up to Hamilton to see if they can make any kind of offense run. Ford is going to play backyard football, kind of like Pablo Rodriguez back in the backyard football video game of days of yore. We'll see what happens, right? It will make it interesting and entertaining at the very least. But I think Calgary should probably be able to cover that -4. It seems media are really convinced they're a lot better than a 3-4 football team, despite the fact that their record is such. I guess they'll actually get to prove it tomorrow, because if they are a 3-4 football team, Troy Ford should have a chance with them. If Calgary is actually better than their record, this one shouldn't actually be that close for a team that wants to be better than what their 3-4 record shows. With Saskatchewan and Edmonton, it's pretty tough to beat a good team back-to-back. Right, I think Saskatchewan probably is a better favorite here than what they opened the week as 1.5-point dogs. I'm pretty comfortable with that 1.5-point number for them. And it's going to be a fun environment for them. They opened up the Upper Bowl this week. sounds like. They're going to expect 30,000 plus in Commonwealth when they haven't seen numbers like that in an awfully long time. It should be a pretty entertaining game. We'll just have to see again if the weather stays away there late. They were looking at potential thunderstorms late into the evening. And if that happens to pop up a little bit earlier in the game, you could see a little bit of a slog by the time that one finishes.
Ben, before we go, any props that you're kind of eyeing in on for the Saturday slate? And of the three totals, which are all between 60, 61 and a half, if you had to take one total, which one would it be for the remaining three games?
Yeah, I think if I had to take one of those totals, I like the over in Saskatchewan, Edmonton. Both those passing attacks really project well. And if you're looking for props, I think both those quarterbacks right now, the prop lines are right around 300 yards and they project closer to 340. There's probably a good opportunity for the overs on the pass yards on both quarterbacks and on the over in that game.
Ben, great stuff as always. Fill people in on if they want to dive in a little bit more to all the extensive work you do on the Canadian Football League and more.
Yeah, onsidefantasy.substack.com. We have projections for every player and every game all season long that you can use for your props betting. We cover sides and totals in the Discord. We've got everything that you need to make a few bucks playing CFL fantasy football this year too. We just like to be able to help people get to know the game, have a good idea of what to expect, and help fans grow in the game that they love.
Did you have Xander Horvath over 185 rushing yards yesterday?
I did not. They really got me putting Manny Bailey as the starting running back there last week. If they had put Horvath as a starter in that lineup, I would have been all over it. He's shown a lot of potential in that role. But when they listed him as the backup still, I expected he'd probably get the same role and that you'd have Bailey stepping in for Butler. But in the end, partway through the game, they just decided that this was Xander time and they just let him run wild.
Still can't believe that game last night. 377 on the ground. What the hell? Ben, have a great weekend and enjoy what should be a great doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah, you too, Huss. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. There's Ben Kramer, Ben Yamen on X. If you want to check out some of his work or get links to it. All right, Hacksaw's back. Can't wait for this. Do want to mention and give a big thanks to our friends at Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge. We're having an amazing season, but they're booking well into 2027 right now. So if you are thinking about planning a fly-in fishing trip where you can be on the water in just a couple hours from the city of Winnipeg with world-class fishing and even more world-class hospitality from the Aikens team and the Tarrant family, check out Aikens Lake online at aikenslake.com or at Aikens Lake on all of your social media channels. Congratulations again to Todd Fanning, the senior champion of Manitoba. Had a great chat with Mike McIntyre, who was covering that yesterday. The Breezy Bend golf report today, and I can't wait to get out to Breezy this weekend. It is absolutely immaculate, as Mike was mentioning, is the Rocket Classic. And we got a three-way tie for first. Cameron Young, who was the favorite heading into this at 10-1, Patrick Cantlay, and Rick Fowler. Ricky doing well. He had a 63 yesterday. He's 300 today. They're all at 10 under par. Xander Schauffele at 7 right now. He's also in the top 10. Got a piece of him. And we're keeping an eye on Hideki Matsuyama and Jackson Koiven for the Sunday Sweat Club. Going to be a fun weekend watching the stars of the PGA Tour from Detroit. If you're thinking about a great, maybe one of the top private courses in Manitoba for being the home for you and your family for years to come, check out Breezy Bend online at breezybend.ca or give a call to the clubhouse at 895-7205. All right, Hacksaw's locked, loaded, ready to go. We'll start marbles registration shortly. First, though, it's a long weekend. Give a big cheers to our friends at Winnipeg's favorite local brewery, Little Brown Jug.
You train day in and day out, learning new techniques, approaching new concepts, and living out the thrill of achieving your goals. Building a craft beer is no different. While you spend your hours on the ice, we spend ours here, brewing our trademark beer. Again, and again. Here's to pushing the status quo and challenging ourselves to build something memorable. 1919 by Little Brown Jug.
One.
All right, back by popular demand. It's been a few weeks, but we got NFL training camps. It's time to get to the NFL notebook before we do marbles and the cool bet lines. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton is back. Saw, how's your summer been and how are you feeling?
I'm doing okay. It is really bloody hot. I mean, it's 100+ degrees every day here in San Diego. Used to be America's finest city. It's not. The heat index is unbelievable. Is it November yet? Come on. I need cool weather. I need rain. I need it. But football's here, so that's great.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we'll wait for November. Thank you very much. We're enjoying the summer with what we've got right now. Listen, lots of news in and around the league. Obviously, that is always the case when camps get going. But two sort of off-field problem spots. This crazy injury, a car accident to 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, which was somehow not reported on for more than a week, which was a little surprising to me. And then just an absolute tragedy with a member of the Chiefs coaching staff.
Yeah, let's start in San Francisco. They've got so many problems off the field. And now the Kyle Shanahan auto accident on July 14th, and the fact it was withheld from being released by the Palo Alto police at the request of the 49ers. So now we got a sentiment that there's a media cover-up, and should the media have done a better job? Did somebody in the media withhold it when he had access to it? You know, what's your job as a journalist? So that's kind of messy. It's an injury, a very serious, scary injury, and that he nearly lost his right eye in the accident. And the police report initially blamed a 21-year-old woman for coming around the corner and kind of T-boning Shanahan's car. But Kyle Shanahan came back just this past week and said, no, I was responsible. I dropped my cell phone. I took my eye off the road where I looked at the seat where my cell phone was, and bingo, there was this collision. But at the end of the day, he really got hurt. I mean, he almost lost his right eye, 40 stitches around his eye, shattered nose, 3 broken ribs, fractured hand. He's not allowed to coach. He's not allowed to take part in any extended meetings, Hustler. He stands on the sidelines for only 30 minutes at a time with General Manager John Lynch. He's having problems with light and sensitivity and noise. So, I mean, he's got a severe concussion with symptoms post-concussion that have not gone away. Now, I grant you, we have 6 weeks of training camp here, and we got preseason games, etc. But there's a theory that he is not well enough. He may not be allowed to fly with the 49ers to go to Australia to start the season when the regular season starts in early September against the LA Rams. So that's one big issue off the field in terms of him not being available to be him, head coach, leader, etc. Other thing, a lot of injuries at wide receiver. This is just the same old from what they had last year. And the other thing, unresolved, the whole Brandon Ayuk public dispute. Ayuk is committing career suicide by the way he's acted. I think there's a mental health issue there. John Lynch made an unannounced visit to Ayuk's home and was shown the door not to come. And he said, I was making a welfare check on my player. And now it's in the locker room because George Kittle stood up and sounded off at the first media session this past week and indicated this organization has really tried to help that player. In fact, a lot of guys in this locker room have tried to help this player. In essence, Kittle blaming Ayuk for all the problems. And Ayuk is now untradeable. He's toxic. I don't think anybody wants him. And I think there's a big problem off the field. So that's the San Francisco storyline. The second storyline that you referenced is the Kansas City Chiefs. And, you know, and one item is Patrick Mahomes. Can he hold up coming off the surgery for the 2 torn knee ligaments? So far, so good, though they're monitoring how many snaps he takes and what they're doing with the offense. Second item, they're changing the whole personality of the offense because of the arrival of the Super Bowl running back, Kenneth Walker from Seattle. Walker stood up at the first press conference and he said, we're going to run the damn ball. You guys in the AFC West better be prepared because we're going to run the ball. Third item, they blew out both their left and right tackles, so they got new guys at that position. And then the fourth item is they purged the secondary. They had 5 DBs let go, including their top defensive back who wound up going to the Rams. And then if that's not enough, Eric Bieniemy has to leave camp last Sunday because of the shooting of his wife by his son. Son is being held on 3 gun charges, all felonies. He's in a psychiatric hospital for evaluation. He's had mental health problems for about 12 years. There have been a lot of issues. Now there's police reports that police had to go to that house in Loudoun, Virginia, multiple times. Well, Eric Bieniemy was away coaching at UCLA, coaching at other places. So at this point, Andy Reid is not sure when Bieniemy will be able to come back. They need him back because he is the firebrand leader. He's the polar opposite of Andy Reid's approach. He coaches his players hard, and players respond to him. But he's not there, and he's not going to be there for at least a couple of weeks. Thank goodness his wife is now out of intensive care. But Hustler, I mean, it's a shocking story, and it drives home the point. We cover these teams, we cover the players, the storylines, but you never know about a guy's personal life and what has transpired. And this is just a shocker. I know Bieniemy. I've known him a long time. He's a great citizen, great guy, but obviously he's got a problem with his oldest child at age 27 that has never, ever been solved, and it led to this. So you never know behind the closed doors off the field and in people's private lives, and we have to cover this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolutely shocking bit of news when that broke, a few days ago. Lee, as we get into camp, a lot of teams have a very clearly delineated number one quarterback and a depth chart. And then there's some other teams where it is up for grabs. Two of the most interesting quarterback situations just down the road from us in the Twin Cities with the Minnesota Vikings. And then over in the AFC, the question of who is going to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. In on those, if you would, and any other interesting quarterback notes you got.
Okay, I'll just run through the laundry list I've got here. Let's start with Minnesota right across the border. Big believer in Kevin O'Connell. His resume of working with quarterbacks is really, really impressive. He's got Kyler Murray, who's trying to resurrect his career. That is a great athlete who just has not been able to embrace all the responsibilities of being a starting quarterback in terms of game prep, etc. Too much freelance football, keeps getting hurt. Arizona lets him go. He's still young enough to become a star if Kevin O'Connell can refine his skill and get him mentally to process what needs to be done and don't do other stuff freelancing. So that's one. The other part of the Minnesota equation is J.J. McCarthy, the hired gun quarterback out of the University of Michigan. Great physical talents. Wild arm, though. Wild-haired. Way too many gambles. Way too late on his delivery. Mechanics get screwy on him. This is not Michigan football where they ran the damn ball and asked him to throw it 12 times a game. This is the NFL, and his brief cameo appearances there in Minnesota have really been pockmarked by a lot of turnovers and a lot of sacks and just kind of a lot of mistakes. So the Minnesota storyline is really important, but at least he's got Murray, who he can work with. The Cleveland situation, we've talked about this a year ago. In 1999, Hustler, the Cleveland Browns came back as an expansion team. You remember that? They've had 41 different starting quarterbacks since 1999. 41 in 26 years. And they still don't have one today. This is the final year of the contract of Deshaun Watson, which has paralyzed the team with the salary cap. He's had so many injuries, all the junk off the field. And now he's had this whole time to rehab from multiple Achilles injuries. And he's gone out and he's looked terrible. I've got guys out there who've gone to watch their practices. His first three practices have just been terrible. And this is a vested veteran. And when you don't have accuracy and you just are not making the throws and you're late or you're bouncing them or overshooting guys and you're a veteran, that's not good. The alternative is Shedeur Sanders, who they had to force feed last year, and he's wild arm, and there's a little bit too much freelance with him. There's no doubt he's a great athlete, but he's not a polished product intellectually in terms of reading NFL defenses. So Cleveland's new coach, Todd Monken, he's got his hands full. And by the way, the ownership traded away Myles Garrett, so the defense now is not what the defense was last season, which was dominant. And then to make things even worse, guess who showed up in Cleveland yesterday? Deion Sanders, unannounced, Colorado football coach, not at CU's football practice at the university. He's in Cleveland, wants to meet with Todd Monken about his son. Holy cow, what a soap opera they got in Cleveland. Just briefly, we'll go around the roadmap real quick. Atlanta, good coach Kevin Stefanski. Atlanta, all of a sudden, now they got problems again at quarterback. Michael Penix, third knee surgery, ligament damage, not ready to go 11 on 11. He doesn't think he's going to be ready till maybe the third or fourth week of camp. That's not a lot of time to get ready in Stefanski's playbook. The alternative is Tua Tagovailoa. he's got back stiffness after just 2 workouts, and he's doing very limited stuff. So all of a sudden, Atlanta has got a quarterback problem. Indianapolis, so far so good. Green light go with Daniel Jones. He, of course, is coming off the ruptured Achilles tendon. The big question mark in Indy is Anthony Richardson. You know, they spent a tremendously high draft pick on him a couple of years ago, and he's been nothing but hurt and just played really poorly, and they can't move him because of the cap, and they can't take the cap hit, and nobody wants him. So they're trying to polish him as an insurance policy in case there's more injury problems with Jones, and Jones has had injury problems the course of his career. Arizona, they've got the quarterback, the veteran who was a starter last year that won a 1-11, Jacoby Brissett. The wild card might be Carson Beck, the Miami Hurricane rookie, but he's really raw. And he was not what I'd call a standout stud in college football. Jets got Geno Wilson. Here's the big storyline. Is Geno fighting to save his career and fighting to save the coaching career of Aaron Glenn? But you know what? In their hip pocket, the Jets have 3 number 1 draft picks. Next year, Hustler, there could be 7 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and the Jets have 3 first-round picks. So that storyline bears watching. So it's going to be fascinating. If you got a quarterback in the league, good for you. If you don't have a quarterback, pal, you got in trouble. And the last I counted, there are 10 of the 32 teams in the league that have iffy, troublesome quarterback situations.
Just on our way out, tough week for our buddy Tony Romo. And Romo got clipped for the OWI in Wisconsin. And now it sounds like we might not be seeing Tony yuck it up on NFL broadcast to start the season.
Well, he's going to need some help. He's going to need some guidance. I don't know how deep the alcoholic problems are, but I bet they are. I saw the video. You've probably seen the video of him staggering around when they tried to do the sobriety test. And then he lied to the police about where he was going and what he was doing. And obviously, his life after football has been star-studded as a guy on CBS, but obviously his lifestyle needs to be brought into question here. And CBS today removed him from their lead telecast package with Jim Nantz and J.J. Watt. It's your turn. And Tony Romo might not get that job back. Now, I don't think he's going to lose his position, but I think that somebody needs to do an intervention, and maybe the intervention's already occurred. I like Tony. I've interviewed Tony. I would hope that if he needs help, he will step forward. He will seek help to solve this situation, because this might not be the first time this has happened, but this happened and it looks really, really bad.
So cannot wait to get the preseason going and get a little closer to NFL kickoff. Have yourself a great weekend, and we'll look forward to catching up next week after the preseason officially starts with the Hall of Fame game.
1919's to you, but I'm not giving you my cold frosted glass because it's so bloody hot here in San Diego. I'm keeping that to myself in my house. Have yourself a great sports weekend, guys. We'll catch you next weekend. Hey, make sure all those people on my O Canada network start to dial back and watch my podcast Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30 Pacific. When you're done with Hustler, come get the U.S. version of all the sports stories on my podcast and check my website, including my One Man's Opinion column, because I wrote a very emotional column today. We just lost one of our star players of the old San Diego Chargers, and just a sad passing of a legendary linebacker, Billy Ray Smith. But check my website every day. Check the podcast when you're done with those dudes in Winnipeg. Come across the border and sample what I do.
Cheers, Hacksaw. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
There's Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, and of course the website is leehacksawhamilton.com with links to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed already if you haven't already done that. All right, we gotta get some marbles going, Remo, but we gotta get to the Cool Bet lines. Now, we just went over some things with Ben Kramer, but I will reset where things are at right now in the CFL. The line in the Montreal-Ottawa game is actually moved from 7 to 6.5. I actually like that. But better spot, to get that half point. Could be a big half point. We do like the Alouettes tonight, and the Calgary number is down to 4. I kind of felt good anything under a touchdown for Calgary. So 6.5, 4.5 for Calgary, and as we mentioned, a big swing in the Saskatchewan-Edmonton game. Edmonton had been 1.5 point favorites through most of the week. It is now swung to the other side. Saskatchewan's now a 1 point favorite. And the money line is Riders minus 118 and the Elks minus 104, trending towards potentially 30,000 in Commonwealth. Great to see right now. So that is your CFL situation. Now, I know that Jake has been working hard trying to see if we can get a number on Mr. Kevin Gausman. With the deadline coming up on Monday, you can do a little prognostication and jump on it. Remo, there you go. It's under MLB specials in futures. We've got odds on Luis Reyes. What team will he be on August 4th? Rays are the favorite of plus 350. Yankees plus 450. Rangers 5-1. Adley Rutschman looking to be on the move, potentially. Orioles still the favorite at minus 333, but if you think he'll be dealt, you got the Yankees at 6-1, Rays at plus 850, Red Sox at 10-1, and any other team outside of the Rangers, White Sox, and Phillies at 11-1. Freddie Peralta has numbers. White Sox and Brewers, the favorites to have Freddie on the 4th. But this is the one we were talking about yesterday with Jake, and now we've got it. Which team will Kevin Gausman be on August 4th? It's 8-1 that he'll be on the Jays. So highly likely that he will be on the move. The Braves are the favorite to land Kevin Gausman at plus 350. Phillies at plus 425. White Sox, the resurgent White Sox at 5-1, and the Cubs at 6-1 before the Rays. You can't trade him to the New York Yankees. That just would not sit right, I think, with Jays fans. So some fun MLB specials if you want to get that, you baseball fans, before the deadline goes down on Monday. Now, first off, I will get to WrestleMania in just a sec. But, Remo, listen, the Bombers have not been taking care of business at home. The hope is tonight, though, that we'll have both of our teams take care of business at home. The Sea Bears are a big favorite tonight in their CEBL game. I believe the total when I last looked was 10.5, and that is the case. So the Sea Bears are 10.5 point favorites in the game, but we also, of course, have the Gold Eyes back. And how about the Cool Bet guys? Always doing it right. The Gold Eyes are not on the board tonight, but the Manitoba Mosquitoes are. Well done to the fellas for recognizing the alternate identity tonight. Manitoba Mosquitoes, a.k.a. the Gold Eyes, minus 161 favorites. Lincoln Salt Dogs, plus 120. So you had to put together the Toba two-piece in the exclusives. We need a Gold Eyes win, or a Mosquitoes win, as it were, and we need a Sea Bears win. No spread, just Sea Bears to win, Fish to win. That's boosted from minus 118 to minus 104. A bunch of other fun parlays and availability out there right now. We do have a Canadian baseball one. Vancouver Canadians to win, Jays to beat the Cardinals, and the Mosquitoes to beat the Lincoln Salt Dogs. 7 o'clock start tonight. All the NFL futures continue to get added by the day. Our Sunday Sweat Club that Patty and I put together, looking pretty good as we just went over those numbers at the Rocket Classic. And yes, it's a big weekend for you wrestling fans, folks, and CoolBet always throws out some numbers for the big events. It is SummerSlam. We've got CM Punk as a minus 360 favorite over Cody Rhodes at plus 235. This is a fun one. If you are going to be watching it, you just want to have a little action on some of these matches. There's props on number of Crossroads performed by Cody Rhodes, number of GTS performed by CM Punk, whose finishing move will be performed first. So that's obviously the big one that night. Obafemi's a huge favorite over Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell. Liv Morgan, short favorite, -167 over Io Sky. Big Liv Morgan fan here. Hopefully she can get it done. And if you want a straight up wrestling pick'em, we got a 6-woman tag team match. Bella Twins and Paige versus Fatal Influence. -118 on both sides. Danhausen, Dominic Mysterio. Who else? The odds on Penta, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. Trick Williams and Baron Corbin. And more, I'm sure, added throughout the weekend. So I guess SmackDown's tonight. And then Saturday and Sunday, SummerSlam from the Twin Cities. I think a lot of people from this area, wrestling fans, headed down for it. So hopefully everyone that made it out. Our pal Ritz Kraka himself, Carter Chen Remo, is going to be down there and has a number of photos already booked with some of the stars of the WWE, including Tiffany Stratton, and Blake Monroe. Big fans of theirs, apparently.
Yeah, I might have to check out Carter Chen's Instagram this weekend at Ritz Kraka, going down, checking out.
Tag us. He's going to tag us in some posts.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yeah.
We need an on-site correspondent for, they're not called pay-per-views anymore. They're called premium live events, and this is certainly one of the big four for WWE at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. So I've never been to a big pay-per-view. I checked off an item on the bucket list. I went to SmackDown here, Raw here, the AEW shows, but this is a big one, huh? So I will have to tune in. Saturday and Sunday night, two-night
Netflix
thing.
That's where you get it.
On
Saturday
Netflix?
Sunday night, Netflix.
Man, 2 nights? I miss the old Sunday nighter ones. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess there's just so many. I mean, they want to make it big. They want to sell more tickets and more money. And a lot of people travel in, make a weekend out of it, I guess. By the way, the back at it after the Bomber disaster ticket, I've got Montreal -6.5, Calgary -4, and the Riders on the money line. That's plus 573 if you want to throw that one together. Don't forget, on Wednesday is the last chance qualifier for the Poker Summer Series with WST. 8 p.m. over at Coolbet and Poker. You can just search WST. Myself, Hammer, Remo will be throwing down $100 bounties on all of our heads. And the top 2 finishers will win tickets for the finals, which is a week Wednesday, August 12th. Winner of that one will represent Canada at the Coolbet Open, big Euro poker tournament in Estonia in early September. If you haven't played a Coolbet before, use that promo code WST as well on your first deposit for a 100% bonus up to $200. All right, it's about that time, just after 3 p.m., long weekend. But the weekend does not officially start until we drop the marbles. And shout out to Tristan Rivers. I know he wasn't at the game last night because his band was playing on an event, I think video game music over at Park Theater. But these are the Tristan Rivers tracks that you know is the most. The Marbles song. Let's hit it with one of his famous versions and then begin the Marbles on August long weekend here on WST. All right, Blink version, Marbles time. Remo, what are you cooking up for us on this beautiful Friday afternoon?
Stormy requested a track, and I reviewed it. It was good, so we'll do that one. Just I want to address a comment from Joel Kevison in chat, or Kevinson. He wants the Toba 2-piece. It's not in the exclusive. It's at the top.
Yeah, sorry.
At the combo cards. So you got to scroll across right here. Toba 2-piece. So there's this little bar here. There you see Friday Night Super Boost. Scroll across. Toba 2-piece. We got the Sea Bears and the Mosquitoes. And the Sea Bears, like, minus 700 favorite. We already had one, loss by a Winnipeg team as a big favorite at home to start the weekend. Come on, Sea Bears. Let's get it done here.
Funny thing, I was talking to some Seabears fans at the Bomber game yesterday, and I didn't realize, but Vancouver actually lost their last game.
Oh.
So we thought that this was going to be a huge game for the Seabears that they needed to win to make that last game, the game on Sunday, have it for first place. I don't think this game matters at all now. I think if they win on Sunday in Vancouver, they will finish first. But it's fan appreciation night tonight. Really busy night. You got to basically choose between the ballpark or Canada Life Center. Two great options. And hopefully both of those teams win and we cash the Toba 2-piece, Joel.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So I will be dialed into that one. I'm going to close the race.
I see Jake in chat. Yes, come on, Toba. Help the people tonight. We really need it after last night. I can tell you that. The CFL parlay blew up thanks to what happened at Princess Auto Stadium. I still cannot believe what we witnessed last night, but I'm trying to clear my head and go in with positive vibes only to the weekend, despite what we witnessed on one of the most gorgeous days you could have had for football with an incredible crowd.
We do have a poll out as well in chat. What's your biggest concern about the Bombers after the loss? 18% say the defense, 7% say the offense, 17% coaching and play calling, 58%. I'm worried about all of it, which is, I think, why everyone's so concerned. It's just in every area. Last game, they got beat, and last night, some interesting decision-making, but also they got ran all over the field, and I didn't get a chance to respond to Mike O'Shea's comment. You wanted the team to have a good feeling kicking a field goal when they got the ball inside the 10. I think it had the opposite effect where the players were all pissed off saying, well, you don't think we can get 2 yards here to get a first down? And what's the worst case? You don't score from the 4 and then they have the ball inside the 5. And instead you kick 3 points, you give them the ball at the 40. I don't know, a lot of concerns there about some of the decisions they made yesterday. Certainly, a couple of these games, if you want to look at the positive, Huss, a lot of these games for the Bombers seem to be within their grasp at times. That game against Calgary, the game against Edmonton, they couldn't stop fumbling this game. But, when you say over and over, they made too many mistakes, they should have won. Well, that's who you are. They're a team that makes a lot of mistakes, a team that gives up big plays, a team that can't score touchdowns. Thankfully, they have a bye week because they're pretty tired, Huss. To be fair, they have had a tough schedule with not a lot of practice. It would be nice if they could practice during the bye week after that type of game. It seems like they need it.
It's like the old hockey coach. Yeah, we're gonna be practice today. Where are the pucks? No pucks. We've been in shape, so they're not tired in the fourth quarter of games, as coach thought. But anyways, we've try not to think about this game, although I have a feeling it'll be lurking with us for the next few days. Don't forget, while Remis gets this thing ready, 9 a.m., I saw Schnitzy in the chat. He's all fired up. He and Connor will go live at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, followed with the Bombers Report, followed by CFL 110 with myself and Jeff Hamilton with a full recap of the weekend. And fortunately, I can't wait to get Hammer's takes on last night. I can tell you in the group chat, he, like many of you, not impressed with what the Bombers threw out there last night. All right, what track is this?
Okay, so Stormy wrote in chat. He demanded this track as I loaded up. It was called, and I wrote it down. What's going on here?
We got a blank Lee Hacksaw Hamilton window.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one. No. It's called Rolling Ballistic Brawl.
Ooh, Rolling Ballistic Brawl. Very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Oh, sorry.
Name.
Bolting Ballistic Brawl.
Okay.
bolting. It was good. It had a finish where, well, first of all, last week, that finish where Will Sutton was about to win and hit a landmine and exploded. I saw him at the Gold Eyes game on Sunday, and he was still reeling from it. He was like laughing. So show it to Will.
I had a few people chirp me for my near second place finish last week, or was it the week before? Everyone wants to talk marbles at the games. It was fun, man. So many people said hi at the game last night. Actually, I do want to give one shout out though, while you get this ready, to Ryan. Ryan came up and just said he's a loyal listener. And I said, oh, great. He's in, I guess, originally from here, but has been in Great Britain for the last 15 years or so, and is all over the world. He pulls it up. Look at this. First podcast right there. Bang. Winnipeg Sports Talk. So shout out to Ryan and everybody else that said hi at the game last night. I saw Ron P. Her and her husband are all fired up for the Labor Day trip. Of course, I think there are just a few spots left. That's a quick plug. Don't wait on that. And listen, win or lose, the trip is absolutely phenomenal. It is so much fun. If you haven't done it before, go to the 1930 crew at Gmail. Send them an email if you want, or check out the 1930 crew, Instagram, Facebook, X for more information and get those last few spots all booked up. All right, here we go. It's the long weekend. We got 183 marbles. It's the Bolting Ballistic Brawl as requested by Stormy. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. Big funnel start. And then down the tube into a little bit of a teacup with some sort of, I don't know what we would call that thing. I don't know whether you can block people.
The funnel?
Yeah. Oh, I see Amanda's in there. Amanda made it in. Amanda, I hope you and the girls have a great weekend out at Rockin' the Fields, Minnedosa. Lots happening this weekend.
They're going? Oh, man, it's pretty sweet lineup there I saw.
Yeah, I see Quiet Riot playing there as well. Collective Soul, I think. Hrabchak first up.
Man,
and there's Danielle Roy. Danielle also part of the gang heading out to Westman for Rockin' the Fields. Cigars for Everyone is in Cigars for Everyone was in first, and now they're out. Greg M. Al Broderick. Great to see Al. Al took so many awesome pictures at the Gold Eyes game with everyone. There's Elias McCracken. DJ just got popped. They're doing the sliding stairs right now. And looks like we've got Captain Phil and Greg M right there. Ooh, Jets number 1 just got popped. Smurfy in the mix right now. There's Robert Paul as well. Oh, and Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky's got a new jersey, Remo. No number, name bar, just simply says big hat.
That's pretty good.
Should send you the picture. Great to see you fellas last night. All right, Robert Paul, Wayne Gretzky, Captain Phil, Ralph Mertez, all in there. Oh, Joel Kevinson, not good. Frosty Winnipeg, Derek Schmidt, you guys just got popped. Robert Paul by a nose right now, but this is very, very tight. K Hockey as well. And K actually has just taken the lead briefly. Who's going to be first through? All right, it's K9. K9 Hockey, Puck and Hoots. It's not there. Ralph Merton. Oh, Smurfy. Oh, Danielle. Sorry about that. She's out. Mike Cochran's out. We're getting a lot of them. Okay, here's Captain Phil on one side. Gretzky on the other. I think you have to come through. Oh, Tyson. Tyson just skipped them. Tyson and Gretzky going head to head. And it's Tyson with the victory today over his homie, Wayne Gretzky. Those two guys sit together at the Bomber games, and you will often see those two with their shirts off in the fourth quarter. A 1-3 combo for the Titanic 2. Michael Pruden with second place. Matt Hyman, nice work. Captain Phil, DDP, that's Dallas. Dallas, nice work. K9 Hockey, Al Broderick, Disposable Hero, and Murray Brown, our top 10 today. What a finish. What a finish. There it is. Tyson, a fourth. I know Tyson has been with us since the very first ever marble race, but I think that is a new all-time career leader.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth victory. Tyson did hit the nitrous. There's Waiters as well. He's all fired up. Nicely done. All right, let's see where everyone did. Get all your head-to-head wagers with everyone. I think we did lose a few going on. Here are credits. All right, so we did our top 10. Tyson D, Michael Pruden, Wayne Gretzky, Matt Hyman. After 10, we got the Dogfather, Dan Jets fan, Michelle Street. Nice work, Michelle. There's Eagle Eyes, Jet Oil Tom. Who else is up there? Schnitzy and Ishaboy Bruce, 21 and 22. Earl James, 22 Canuck. There's Will Sutton, made it through. Phyllis, the Barflies, Shea Anthony, and then, oh wow, only 41 marbles ended up making it through. You can just kind of roll down to the bottom, Remo, just in case people want to see who went out first or whatever. There's Amanda, there's Minnow, our buddy Jaden, Gary Labossiere, Bozeman, tough one, Sean. The real Spency. And by the way, speaking of Spency, there's Big Maple. Oh, I've got a bet from Big Maple I got to throw out to everyone, I should mention. There's Dr. Terry. Have a good weekend, dude. We got to get out golfing sometime soon. For those of you that like the UFC plays from Big Maple, as we finish this up, here's your two-legger from Maple. Borislav Nikolic to win at -185. And the Vlasto Seppo Gilbert Urbina fight to go under 1.5 rounds. That one's -256. Parlay together +114. Remis and I are riding with Big Maple. So if you want to pick for UFC tomorrow night, we got it from the brains of the operation when it comes to MMA. Remo, what's on your agenda for the weekend?
Yeah, it's my son's birthday on Sunday. So I think he was born on a Sunday of a long weekend, turning 7. So
how did the party go?
Yeah.
Was that yesterday or 2 days ago?
He had a party for his friends in the city on Wednesday. I mean, going out for dinner tonight, going to the beach Saturday, having a dinner. So this is like a week-long birthday celebration. So some of his friends, they get, 7-year-old boys, get a little crazy.
Yeah, how was the party? Like, that must just be chaos.
It was a lot. It was a lot, but I think it went really well. I think they had fun, but wasn't too long, but really good stuff. So
Are you just like going over to some like family for dinner, or is this a going out somewhere?
No, we'll go out with family for dinner, and then we'll have dinner at the beach Saturday. Icelandic Festival, they got the rides. They're going to the rides there. They still got the Magnus Classic going. We usually have them on. They never reached out to me.
That is for sure. Yes, Waiter's House. You were going to say something about Spency. We were saying, where is Spency last night? Wasn't at the game. Sent a picture. Locked in, training for his return to Folklorama. Now, if anyone has seen Spency before, Spency's a bigger dude. You would not believe the hops on Spency as part of an incredible crew of Ukrainian dancers. He's been doing this for a long time, and that grind at Folklorama, I think doing it 4 nights a night for a full week is crazy. So shout out to Spency. I believe, and don't quote me on this, when we did the pierogi eating contest, that's where I first met him. He was dancing at the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion. So check that out. I'm sure in the Discord, if you want to know, maybe we should get a crew to go out and check it out as Folklorama is underway. Folklorama, the Icelandic Fest, Rock in the Field, so much going on. Check out Travel Manitoba if you want some ideas of where to head out to this weekend. We're going to take a few days off. We need to get away from last night's game for 3 days. But again, a big Tuesday coming up after the long weekend. 9 a.m. Bomber Report with Connor and Zach. 10 a.m. CFL 110 with myself and Hammer. And then a full weekend recap and a look ahead to the rest of the week in sports with WST live at 1 o'clock p.m. Thanks to all of our guests today. Thanks to our sponsors that make the show happen each and every day, and all of you for hanging out. Hope you all have a wonderful and safe August long weekend. We'll see you Tuesday for an extensive day of programming right here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Have an awesome one.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.